3, 2, 1. How are we doing, Bryce?
Doing pretty good. Just chilling.
Nice, bro.
Yeah.
What have you been up to, buddy? What have you been doing recently?
Well, I just got back from AT with the Marines annual training. I'm in the reserves, so it's not like the active duty stuff. It's more like the National Guard.
Okay.
Except the National Guard falls more on a state level as opposed to just the reserves fall on a national level, federal level.
How does that make sense? It's the National Guard. Like.
Yeah, it's the National Guard, so it's more aligned with like the state militia kind of thing. So like the governor of Minnesota
That's kind of dope.
Yeah, the governor of Minnesota is the commander-in-chief of the Minnesota National Guard.
Ooh.
So that's like each state has their own fighting force.
Okay.
It's like if civil war breaks out, we can go state against state, Minnesota against Iowa kind of thing,
Oh, we would run the Midwest.
We would fuck Iowa up. I would hope to God we'd fuck Iowa up.
I mean, you shoot one shot, it goes across the entire state. It's that flat.
That's true. It's true.
But like the Marine Reserves, we're not, the governor isn't in control of us. That's still a federal branch. So the president is still our commander-in-chief.
Okay. Huh. So what do you do as like a Marine Reserve? It's like, is it?
Are you
just
talking
like
about me personally, or like? Cause, I mean, my job is in general. It's like you go down once a month, like the normal thing for National Guards. You spend a weekend doing your job. Okay. My job is administrative specialist. So I do all the paperwork.
Oh.
Paychecks, all that stuff.
Fuck that.
It was not my choice. It was like my fourth choice. It's like what happened was I was talking to the recruiter, and it's like, all right, what job do you want? I was like, well, I want to be MP, military police.
Okay. And
he was like, all right, well, we don't got that available. What else you want? I was like, all right, well, I'll go crash fire rescue, kind of like a firefighter, like on an airfield.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, sweet. Go down and do the paperwork. It's like, all right, you got two choices. You got bulk fuel or admin. I was like, well, I'll take bulk fuel, and I got admin. So, yeah, that was my. That's what I got.
Damn, you just got dealt a shitty hand in that situation, huh?
Yeah, I mean, now that I got it, it's kind of okay. It's not bad. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't even do much over the course of AT or drill because I don't even have access to computers.
Sorry about that. Just getting a weird phone call. I'll turn my ringer off. Keep going. I'm sorry.
So it's like I don't even have computer access, so I can't even do much. All I do is sit and shred paper and staple stuff and that kind of thing. But over this AT,
sounds like an admin job, honestly. Just shredding paper, signing shit, stapling things.
Honestly, God, like for the first few months I was there, I was just sitting there like
serving your country.
Yeah, it's like this is ass. And I was just sitting there for hours a day with my thumb up my ass, just shredding paper over and over.
Well, I would have used both my hands, but I guess you only need one hand to shred paper.
Very true.
Other thumb can be up your ass.
But yeah, this AT I was actually doing shit because normally on AT, which is our annual training, because my unit's Marine Wing Support Squadron, which is we don't have any planes attached to us. We don't do any of the cool fancy flying. Mm-hmm. We refuel planes and that's about it. We just sit there.
Someone's got to do it.
Sit there at the gas pump and a plane comes up. All right, fill her up, and that's our job.
Is it really that simple?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say there's no way there's no way it's like sitting at a pump at like Quick Trip or something, and someone rolls up and you just stick it in. Like there's probably a whole procedure.
Oh yeah,
there's like airlock shit.
Yeah, last year's AT we went up to Cold Lake in Canada. There's an air base up there. It was really weird because it's like open to the public. It's not like our air bases or like any military base where it's like fenced off and you gotta show ID to get in. No, people can just like drive up there and just like, oh, look at that. It's in Canada. Also in Canada because they legalized marijuana. There's like designated places on base that you can smoke as a service member.
Wait, smoke pot?
Yeah, Canadian
military.
Serving
in the military?
Yes,
wow.
Canadian military members, yeah.
Canadian military, that's crazy.
We might have to get a Canadian citizenship visa and join the military.
Right now, it looks a lot better in Canada than right here, so that's not a bad move.
Yeah, it does. What, Portland's on fire still?
Oh, yeah.
They got stormtroopers going in there just wrecking.
Portland was scary for a second.
Wrecking pregnant people with rubber bullets and shit. Yeah.
Like you saw one of those videos of the protests where like there's just some old dude just kind of standing there and this like line of police officers just like knock him over. It's like this dude was just standing there. What the fuck?
Oh, you talking about that old guy that?
Yeah.
Like early
He was,
on.
like, in
that's
Buffalo?
not that. Yeah, that's Buffalo, New York. That was a while ago.
Yeah, I know, but that's still
really
like, it still kind of like fucks with me. It's like, really? Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, we actually talked to Jordan. Jordan, he was on the podcast, and Jordan was he was one of the National Guardsmen that actually went down to the Capitol, and they were like protecting the Capitol essentially. And I asked him about like that situation, like what would happen if like an old man approached like your squadron walking up like that. And he's like, well, first of all, we'd be in a line. So like if I was the front and I stopped, like everyone behind me would stop. And he's like, and I definitely would stop. I wouldn't just keep walking by this guy. And then like somebody would say something like, hey, sir, you can't be walking through here. And like we wouldn't have shoved him, basically is what he said.
Yeah, no, it'd be more of like a, hey, step to the side, one person, stay here, make sure. I mean, like in a realistic scenario, if you're like in the Middle East and there's like just like passerbys, you just, the rest of the squad keeps going. You have like, 2 or 3 people standing here, make sure like, oh, I'm not just going to toss a grenade right in the group. So just make sure, hey, don't be fucky. And they'll just kind of like stand there, wait for him to go. And then once the line goes, they'll kind of fall back in with the rest of the line.
Okay. And you haven't gone overseas yet, but you are being deployed.
Well, it's not technically a deployment because I'm not going overseas or on any active like operation. I'm just getting sent to San Diego for 8 months.
You're just going to a base?
Yeah, actually MCRD, the recruit depot, the same place I went to boot camp. I'm going back to boot camp, boys.
So are you going to be like a drill sergeant? Or?
Oh, no. It's because I'm only a Lance Corporal, which is E3.
Okay.
And to be a drill instructor, you got to be E5, which is sergeant.
Okay.
At least. And I am definitely not ready for that.
Okay. So what are you just working there then, essentially?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know my job. I haven't even got my orders yet. But I was just told, hey, you went to boot camp in San Diego, right? Yeah. And like throughout the AT, there's this prospect of, hey, people might be selected to go to San Diego. People are going to volunteer, but if not enough people volunteer, you're going to get voluntold. Ooh.
Yeah, it was rough.
So you get voluntold. And I had just got back into my, into the office, into the admin office. And gunnery sergeant was there, and he was like, hey, Mo, because,
hey, Mo.
Everyone goes by last names in the military. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
So just like, hey, Mo, you went to boot camp in San Diego, right? Yeah. Do you got anything like holding you down over here? Like any kids, any marriage, any debt? No.
Any debt?
Is this going where I think it's going? You're going to San Diego? I'm going to San Diego. Fuck.
Well, that's gonna be sick though. San Diego's like a nice place.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely gonna be able to see more of it than just the underside of my drill instructor's boot.
Yeah. Well, you're licking it.
Yeah, that was. I mean, honestly, like boot camp sucked. It did. I'm not gonna say it didn't.
Yeah, of course.
But you kind of miss it a little bit, like, because that, like, I'm not saying like you'd want to go back, but there's that bit of order and like, I love drill, like marching and stuff, and you don't do that on the active duty side or reserve side even.
Well, I feel like you mentioned active duty. I feel like it's the same idea. Like when people go overseas and they actually like they do stuff there, whether it's like they're doing like house raids or they're just sitting on base like doing paperwork, or even if they're like a medic like treating people who are coming in with like traumatic injuries and stuff like that. You almost want to go back because there's so much like structure and there's like a lot of people talking about it. That's why Jordan Hewitt, he's already done one tour and he's going back for another one. He reapplied and he's like I really enjoyed it. I had a great time. He's like, I got to meet great people. He did some fucked up shit that he doesn't talk about, but we don't ask him about it either.
Yeah, that's kind of like with people in the military. You can, if they've been in combat, if they got a certain ribbon, it's a combat action ribbon, and you see that and you're kind of like, oh, and it's just like you don't ask them, but you want to.
Yeah. Because
like for me, they call people who aren't infantry pogues. I don't know what it really stands for. I think it's people other than grunt. And
pogues.
Yeah. So basically,
it's like pog. It's like fat ass white girls.
Poggers.
No, poggers is for streaming. I'm talking about pogs.
Oh, like W. Okay.
All right, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off like that.
God, okay, we got rein it in. We're reining it in right now.
And anyway,
You like my fucking half-gallon beer
God,
stein?
yeah.
Got this for
It's actually pretty dope.
I got this for
like
$1 at a garage sale.
You better finish that before.
$1. I'm gonna finish it. That's the whole reason why I poured them in here. It's just classier. I should get coasters. I should get coasters with my shaped like my head. And it's just like
You could probably order some with like your little you and Dan logo. Here.
Oh yeah, dude! I tried to order a lanyard. Actually, I tried to get a custom lanyard and a custom hat with my logo on it, and it was like it was like $100.
Oh,
it was like
Christ.
40 for the lanyard and like 60 for the hat. And I was like,
Oh,
fuck
greasy.
that! I'll just go buy like some shitty black hat from like Walmart and then bring it to Lids and just
I was
show them
about
the
to say,
logo.
yeah, just be like, see, ask him how much it would be to stitch that on.
Yeah.
Probably be cheaper.
Yeah,
Like,
just
like
the two
$100
fucking
yeah.
heads and
Let's
shit.
go to that.
Yeah, that'd be
Was it
bad.
that sports logo place here in town that does all the jerseys and stuff for the high school team?
I have no idea.
K1.
I don't know what that is.
They do like custom shirts. Isn't that where you got the shirts from, Gabe? With
Or like
was that like was it Jay's birthday or something? No, Jean-Luc's birthday.
oh, it was John Luke's birthday. No, that was Sylvie. Sylvie took control of that.
Oh,
I think,
okay.
or Emma, someone like that.
Oh, okay.
What?
Not really sure where.
Yeah, like
Remember when it was John Luke's birthday, and then like it was like, or maybe it was Delaney. I don't know. Somebody, one of the girls from that friend group was like
It was probably Kate.
potentially.
Because
when-
Kate
I
was
don't
the
know
one
if-
that did my logo.
oh, okay, really?
Yeah.
Well, actually, you know what? Maybe because I think it might have been Emma and
Or
Kate,
Sylvie.
or whatever. But whatever.
It's one of them.
Yeah, the girls took it over, and I forgot where I was going with this.
Well, it was how. What do you?
Oh yeah, like the backstory.
Yeah, it was like John Luke's birthday
Yeah,
or something.
no, they just wanted to, it was supposed to be kind of like a prank, or I don't know, it was supposed to be funny. They took like a really greasy picture of John Luke in sunglasses with his hair gelled.
Yeah,
it was like a track thing or something.
I remember that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny.
No, yeah. And it's like a lot of people, and they're like neon shirts too. So it was greasy.
I haven't thought about
Dude.
high school in a while.
Oh,
No, it was funny though.
thinking about high school, honestly, like it's like trying to remember a night where you blacked out. Like you're just talking
like
to
a
people.
fever
You're like,
dream.
"Oh, that happened," and they're like, "Yeah, you did that," and you're like, "Fuck, I don't even remember." Like,
I have so many just fucking bad memories about high school. Just like, not like
everybody does.
well, I mean, just like shit I did. Like,
oh, fuck it, me
it
too,
was-
dude. Me too.
well, I remember. Spoiler alert. When we did our physics project with the drone.
Oh yeah, we totally faked that.
Oh yeah, we faked that shit. I couldn't get the fucking Raspberry Pi to work. Like I couldn't fucking program the shit. It's like, no, I got the programming.
After I went to Itasca, I looked back on our like project and shit.
Mm-hmm.
The drone wouldn't have flown anyway.
Really?
Yeah, you need to do another, like, you need to buy like another part to
Oh.
attach. It's like a ESC, which is like an electronic speed controller. And you need to buy that and hook it up to the pins on the Raspberry Pi. Because we actually, for one of our physics projects, we built a Raspberry Pi drone
Oh,
in class. And we successfully did it at Itasca.
you did a success. Okay.
A successful one.
Yeah,
but
so
we
you
did.
you didn't bullshit.
No. And then also ours was far too heavy to fly.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh.
The drone motors that we had the what were they? Something snail. I remember
Yep,
them.
I remember that.
They were like racing drone motors, so they were really fast, but the blades weren't racing drone blades. And those blades are huge. Those blades are made to like generate like 1.5 kilograms of lift. The ones that we had only had like 0.3 kilograms of lift, and our 3D printed body that was designed by Rhodes, which honestly we should have taken over and designed it ourselves, because it would have been all I literally wanted was like 2 strips of like 3D printed material with bolt holes on the end. So I wanted like an X of like 2 planks that I could just X and then like snap together and then just put the motors on the end and then the Raspberry Pi on the
make
top.
like a box with legs.
He made like a full-blown box with legs to slide a battery in, and like it was too heavy to fly regardless. So we were fucked from the get-go.
But I still remember, like, we went to present, and I was like, dude, what are we gonna do? And you just like pull out like this wrecked like drone. I was like, oh my god! And you're like the story you told.
Oh yeah.
You told him it's just like it's like I used the controller. I just went up and like two of the motors didn't work, and it just flipped over, crashed on the table. There was babies crying. And
It was like the phone was ringing, babies are crying.
It's like a nice little tea roast.
There's a pie in the oven. It's going off.
It's got rye bread. All fooled. Shout out.
Like, didn't we get
shout
like a
out
B
Mr.
on
Ryan.
that?
Yeah, we still got a B.
Still
got a B.
Oh yeah.
We did.
Shout out Zim.
Yep.
Shout out Zimney. Sorry, Zimney. If you watch this, I'm very sorry that we bullshitted that project. It's
sure
a little
he
late
knew.
now.
I'm sure he knew.
You know what? I feel like he did, but he probably felt so bad that we spent like $60 each on it.
Yeah.
Just for us to not fucking get it.
But
That's
like,
funny.
I'm sure he hated me for all the shit I didn't. I'm sure most of the teachers fucking hated me.
Most of the teachers hated you because it was
Bryce,
their
you're
job for you to do your shit,
And
and
I
you
didn't.
never did
I
your
fucking
shit.
refused to do it. Like,
No, yeah, you literally wouldn't do it.
No,
You wouldn't turn
like,
things in. You just said
I wouldn't
no.
take notes. I wouldn't turn any fucking homework in. Because, like, when high school started, I was like, I was smart. You know, I knew I was smart, and I got cocky. Because, like, I could take the tests, and I could pass them, and I didn't need to do homework. And then it fucking caught up to me in junior and senior year, and I was like, fuck. I've never learned how to learn.
Yeah, that's true. That was something I really had to overcome my first year of college. Like, my first year at Itasca, I was rocking like a 2.7 GPA. And that was like, and I was trying hard as fuck. Like, I was going balls to the wall, like, in the paint every day. And it was just like, and it wasn't the fact that, like, I wasn't putting in the time in, because I was. It was the fact that I wasn't doing it right. So, like, the notes I was taking were, like, half dog shit. Like, the notes I would take like little snippets of notes of, like, what was going on in the class, and I wouldn't retain what it was. So, like, the way I started doing is I started breaking it down from, like, broader categories, because before I'd just write shit down. And it was like whatever came up on the board went to my notebook in snippets, and I'd try to remember later. I never would. So I would break it down into, like, broader subjects. So that would, like, be a main idea, and then it would be, like, subcategories of ideas. And then I'd have, like, a sheet for formulas, and I'd have a sheet for other things. And whatever it is, it's not important. A sheet for other things. And that's the way I would break it down. And after a while, it started to work for me. So the second half of being at Itasca, I rocked, like, a 3.5 GPA.
Oh, there you go.
Rocked my shit back up. Then this year at NDSU, I rocked a 4.0. So it was like...
Fuck yeah.
Because NDSU, it's so... Like, being at Itasca, it was like being in high school, but, like, the teachers are trying to fuck you way harder.
Oh,
like,
okay. Yeah, like...
It's not... It's homework every day, but it's, like, more. Like, way more homework, and it's, like, way harder. When at NDSU, it's just homework, like, once a week, and then it's, like, a midterm test and, like, a final test. Where at Itasca, it was, like, a test every other week. So it was constant, just
So
balls
just
to the wall.
fucking you raw.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Biting a pillow.
Oh.
No lube at all.
Like, for me, it's like, fucking in high school, I barely passed. I think I had like a...
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't understand how you could be so smart and then just, like, barely pass and be like, fuck it, I passed. Like,
Because I just didn't care. I thought I had everything going for me. Like, I had a job at Dairy Queen, so I thought I was top of the
Dairy
world.
Queen.
I was living on my own. Because I, got kicked out of my parents' house. That's a story in a bit.
yeah.
But, like I didn't fucking care. As long as I passed, I was fine. And it was like, what was it, like... I think I went to summer school, like, 3 times because I failed classes. And the counselor... we're not mentioning names, right?
Yeah, no names.
Yeah.
Full names, I guess. Yeah.
the-
You can mention first names.
Oh, I don't know his first name. So,
Whatever,
but like
sorry,
the
whatever.
counselor was like
Is it Chris?
I don't know.
Potentially?
The guy with the earring.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. He pulled so many strings for me to get me to pass. I was in his office like every other day in like junior and senior year.
Really?
Yeah, I was.
Wow.
Yeah, he did so much shit for me, and I still just kind of like, I don't give a fuck. And like, it's like I went to summer school, and I just didn't care about summer school in my senior year either, because I was like, I'm gonna join the Marines. I don't give a crap.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh no, you actually do need your high school diploma, and I was like, well, fuck. Because like when I walked up on the stage, like when we graduated, I didn't like my diploma I got. It was empty. Like I didn't have the diploma there. I don't even know where it is.
So you had to go to summer school.
Yeah, I went to summer school, and I didn't even complete summer school. I was like, I think like the day before I went to boot camp, I got my high school diploma. And like the picture of me getting my diploma is the principal and my recruiter. And I'm just standing there, with my diploma like all right, yeah, I fucking got it. I'm done with this shit.
Wow.
And I was like, looking back, it's like, you know, knowing where I am now, it's like, I wouldn't change where I've ended up, but I would change how I got there.
That's fair.
Like, I'm definitely happy where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
You know, college isn't really for me. I didn't like school, but I wish I had tried harder, got better grades. Because, you know, it's just effort.
That's the thing. Like, I tried to talk to a lot. So, like, I went back last spring break. Little over a year ago. So, not this last spring break, but the spring break before that one. I went back with D-Fox to Cloquet, and I talked to kids in Zimney's class. And I was talking to, like, all of his classes, like his chemistry class and his physics classes about, like, college and stuff. And so I went in there, and they're like, so what's your story? And I was like, oh, well, my story was, like, I thought I was going to go to the U of M. And I was like, I already had plans to live with one of my best friends. Like, I had plans to, you know, become, like, a physicist at U of M. That was my goal. And then, like, out of nowhere, I didn't get accepted. Like, I didn't get accepted to the U of M. I'm not surprised. I had, like, a 27 on my ACT, and I had, like, a 3.0 GPA. Like, I was just barely not in the running. That's why I took them to, like, the last minute to tell me no. So I was a little upset by that, but then I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go to a community college and try out engineering. And that's what I did. And I had to grow the fuck up when I got there. Because, like, when I first got there, I was like, oh, I could, you know, I play video games. I don't have to go to class. I can just, you know, eat whatever I want. And then I gained 30 fucking pounds. Like, my GPA dropped drastically. And, like, yeah, I got all my guns gold in Call of Duty, but, like, but, you know, my life was taking a huge toll by that. And I had to grow up, and that was, like, my biggest point to them. I was like, you know, if you don't know what you want to do, or even if you're a tad uncertain about what you want to do, go to a community college first. Get your gen eds out of the way. Because if you have to do some sort of, like, PhD, let's say you want to go to med school, why don't you get, like, a nursing degree at a community college, like an associate's, and then go get your bachelor's and then move on to med school? Because when you graduate from a 4-year university, it's not going to say got your associate's at so-and-so community college. It's going to say
graduated from.
Yeah, no, it's going to say bachelor's in science, bachelor's in mechanical engineering from NDSU, or bachelor's in mechanical engineering from Michigan Tech. It doesn't matter. You have the same degree, and for those first 2 years, you were paying fucking half price or less to go to that college, and you're getting not only, in my opinion, you're not only getting a better education, but you can also, you also are given more chances. It's like when you find a bunch of 1-ups in, like, Super Mario. Like, that's really how it feels, because if you fuck up at a community college, it's only I think it was like $700 for, like, a three credit class. Or $500 for a 3-credit class. Like, I would only have to pay $500 to retake that class again, rather than paying $5,000.
Yeah.
Right.
That's also what. Besides my grades in high school, that's another reason why I joined the Marines. Because, like, when you said, you know, you needed to grow the fuck up in college, it's like, I think there's that little bit of me that was like,
same thing.
Yeah, I was like, hey, you need to get your shit together. And you know what's the best place to get your shit together? The Marine Corps.
Marine Corps, yeah.
Like, I'm going to be honest, the main reason I joined was because in high school I was kind of like, it was just kind of like a little dog, like, following along Levi. You know, he was on the show. And I was doing whatever he would do because, you know, I thought it was cool. I didn't have any friends, so I just kind of, like, I kind of wore out my welcome with him because I just kind of, like, kept doing shit. Kept, like...
With Levi? What do you mean?
Yeah. Like, I kept borrowing money from him and I wouldn't pay him back, and then I just kept getting in arguments and shit.
Why were you borrowing money from him and not paying him back? Like,
I don't know.
It's kind of a piece. I'm gonna call you out on the podcast.
Oh no, I was
kind
a piece of shit.
That's kind of a piece of shit move.
Like, I was a piece of shit, and, like, in high school, I was a piece of shit. Fuck, I think there was one time.
Just get paper towels in here. It's a bad idea to use a glass. Gets all fucking dewy.
Yeah,
Sorry.
there was one time, like,
sorry.
Like, I was biking around near his house, and, like, I'd been talking to him earlier, and I was like, I knew his, you know, parents hadn't been home, but it was, like, near his birthday or something, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go bake him a cake, but he wasn't home. I literally just, like, broke into his garage. I literally just, like, lifted the garage door up, went in his house, and I didn't even bake a cake. I just, like, sat there playing video games. And then, like, he came home, I hid downstairs, and I was like, hey, are you home? And he's like, yeah. And I just came up from the basement. And I was like, I thought it was funny, but that was because I was just being fucking retarded.
You just broke.
I literally just broke into his house, yeah.
Hold up. Start from the beginning.
That's literally the story.
You were going to bake him a cake in his own house?
Yeah, because it was dumb. I know it was dumb.
Why didn't you just use your house?
I don't know.
You have a stove, right? You have
it was
an oven?
it was literally the dumbest idea I ever had.
What? No, hold on. Why did you think this was a good idea?
I don't know. Like I said, I was retarded, but I was retarded in high school.
Right, we gotta... No, that's not something a retarded person does. Like, retarded person says, like, hey, are you pregnant, to a fat lady? That's what a retarded person says. Retarded person doesn't break into someone's house and then just start playing their games, and then when they come home, you run downstairs and then text them.
That's literally what happened.
You home?
That's literally what happened, though. Like, that's it. Like, I didn't... there's nothing else.
So you were gonna... Hold on. Was your initial thought to bake a cake in his house?
Yeah.
Using his oven?
Yeah.
And his ingredients?
And it was dumb.
His ingredients?
Yeah.
His fucking shit. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I baked you a cake, but it's like your cake. Like, it's all your stuff, and all this mess is yours to clean up too. Like,
it was...
God,
yeah.
so
it sounds dumb when you think about it, and I realized that was probably, like, one of the dumbest things I've ever done.
So, okay.
But it's like, I had, like, in high school, I was on a streak of, like, I guess, crime. Like not...
Yeah, you broke into someone's house. I mean, you didn't take anything.
No. And
was
like,
Levi pissed?
Yeah, he was pissed. I didn't see it. I thought it was funny as fuck. I was like, oh, that's funny. And, we're best friends. And he was just like, no, dude, that's not fucking cool. And I was like, I didn't.
Okay,
see
but
it.
that's the thing though. Like, I broke into Max's house during the Nerf war.
Well,
I broke into his house, but that was the thing. Like, I ran downstairs and I saw his dad, and I was like, oh, hey, Pat, and he's like, oh, hey, Trenton. I was like, where's Max? He's like, I think he went to the store, and I was like, oh, all right. Then I ran upstairs, and his mom was pissed. His mom caught me, and she was upset.
Mm-hmm.
But his dad was like, didn't give a fuck. He's like, oh, hey, Trenton, what's up? But, yeah, I didn't just...
Yeah, no, it was dumb.
There were people home.
Yeah.
And I made sure to make my presence known.
Yeah, there was no one home there. Like, it was dumb as fuck. But yeah,
Man,
like...
That's hard to wrap my brain around.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely stupid.
Okay. Yeah, continue, though. I want to hear more of this. This is interesting.
But it's like... High school was just, like, messed up for me, because they're like...
So, hold on. Is that the only house you've ever broken into?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, you've never
No,
broken into my house?
Nope, never stole nothing from no one. It was all, like, all the stuff that I did with crime was all involved in my family. Like, it was all messed up. I know word's gotten out to some people in school.
Mm-hmm.
Not some pretty heavy shit.
We can talk. You don't have to.
No,
if you don't want to.
it's fine.
We don't have to get too much in detail.
Well, yeah, not in detail, but it's like, it's just shit that
I wanted to get in detail about that, though. Like, trying to bake a cake with a homie's ingredients.
Yeah.
There's no thought into that at that point. It's all just effort.
Yeah, it was...
That's like
Here you go. Here's your own stuff.
That's like when someone has a birthday and they're like opening a card, right? And they open the card, they look at it, they take the money out of it, and then you grab the card out of their hands, you write your name on it, put some more money in it, and give it back to them. That's all it is. There's no thought into that. You're just recycling shit that's already theirs.
Like, looking back on it, it was like, holy fuck.
It's kind of funny though. I think it's kind of funny, honestly.
Kind of, but like at the same time, it's like I was dumb as fuck.
Levi might have a different take on it, but I think that shit might be like in the
Maybe
top
we'll have
5.
to bring him back. Let's bring him back on to
Oh no, he was
to get his opinion on the story.
Top 6 funniest moments on the podcast.
And he kept like bringing it up, like as time went on, he kept like bringing it up. He's like, "You broke into my house, dude," and I was like, "Yeah, so."
Oh, that shit's so funny. I never heard about that. How come Levi never told anybody? Oh, that shit's hilarious.
I was weird as fuck.
Yeah, I had never heard about that either.
No.
I mean, I was weird as fuck in high school. Like I was a fucking liar. Like I lied about fucking everything.
Did you?
Fuck yeah. Like
Compulsive or what?
I don't know, but I lied about everything. Like there's some shit about like I would design like Minecraft skins, and because I was so good at it, I got it.
Oh yeah,
I
you
got
told me
accepted.
about that.
Like I got invited to
Yeah,
Minecon.
yeah,
I remember
like,
this.
10th
I remember
grade or
this.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's just like I
freshman
lied
year,
about
I
it. It's like I
remember.
wanted to be, I wanted to be cool. I wanted my friends to like me, and then it was just like, yeah, it fell apart pretty quick.
Yeah, but I remember, I can't remember if I was one of the first people you told that to or if somebody else was, but I remember asking you, like, how you did it. And, like, you showed me, like, how you make skins and shit. Like, you showed me how to make the skins and, like, how to upload them. And then you're like, yeah, these are my skins. And I was like, okay, this is, like, some pretty rock-solid evidence. Like, we thought you were lying. And then I was like, we might be telling the truth about this one.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
it's kinda whack.
I was pretty in depth with my lies.
Okay, so
It's kind of
so you-
impressive, though. I mean, there
That's
was
a lot of work.
There was it's a lot of work, and there was a
Yeah,
lot of evidence to say maybe this isn't totally not true.
I mean, like I look back on it, it's like I have nothing but regret because it was just like it just further alienated me from people. And it's like I lied about so many other things. Like, was it like Knowledge Bowl? You guys, I think your team gave me money to make you guys shirts, and I kept saying I would do it, and I just fucking took your guys' money.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Damn.
Oh god, I remember that. I totally
Yeah.
forgot all about that. You Jew.
Yeah, and then I
Okay, that's probably offensive. I mean, I just you're dick. Sorry, I retract my statement. I'm not anti-Semitic, but you dick.
Yep.
You dick.
I was.
Jew.
I mean, I was like.
I apologize.
It's
gave
the
all
only.
bad.
It's the only word. It's the only word that you can identify a race as and insult them with too. That's the only. It's just. It's all in context about how you say it.
It's like
sorry.
I'm not offended.
I was just rage. I just remembered the pure rage.
Just
was like-
losing my money.
It's like I gave the money back eventually, but I think it was like weeks of just like, hey, how are the shirts going? Oh, dude, going good. Going good.
We wanted shirts so bad,
And I just-
then you just didn't come
I
through.
just screwed
We
with
could
them.
have.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
God damn.
Didn't come, but I think.
So
like
what
you
was
said, yeah,
what was the
it
what was it
elaborate. It was
behind
fine.
like? I don't necessarily want to get like too into psychology here, but like, because I don't know shit about psychology. Like, I don't know. I barely even know psychology 101. I barely passed that class. But what was like the thought process behind something like how?
There was no thought behind it. There was no like initial. I'm gonna take their money. It was just. I honestly wanted to get them a shirt. Yeah, I wanted to get them shirts.
But you never put like any effort
Nope.
into it.
Once I got the money, I was just like, didn't care.
You just never
No.
thought about it.
Nope.
Did you feel guilty at all?
At the time, no, not really. I mean, when you there's
Yeah,
those there's
were
those
you a
moments.
sociopath?
No,
Bryce?
no.
Like,
I mean, you look back on it now, and there's obvious guilt.
yeah, of course.
I mean, I went to see a psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever the fuck. And
Pretty sure
I
it'd
was
be a psychiatrist.
yeah, I was diagnosed with what's called ODD, which is oppositional defiance disorder, which is like you just don't want to do what you're told.
Okay.
Which I'm like, that's stupid. I'm just in high school. I'm just a kid. Of course, I don't want to do what adults tell me. I'm a rebel.
Okay.
And I was like, I kind of like balked that. I'm like I don't, because I don't want to have like a diagnosis define me. I don't want to like be one of those people. It's
So
like,
you were defiant against your own ODD diagnosis.
yeah, there you go.
Your
It was
defiant diagnosis was absolutely right because they told you were defiant and you're like,
Like,
fuck
no.
you, I'm obedient. You just went and joined the Marines. That's what you did.
But it was like I didn't want to listen to what other people said because I thought I was cocky, I was arrogant, I was smart. I know
Yeah.
I was smart, but it was
You thought you were smarter than everybody else, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Like I remember like Mr. Fairbanks
Yeah.
with the big ugly.
Yeah.
I lied about that. I told him I had turned it in and he had lost it. I lied. And
What happened? Did he?
He made me do like a third of it, and I did it. But I was like, yeah, I turned it in, and he lost it. And like I just straight up lied to him.
Damn, that's kind of impressive. You could pull that shit off on Fairbanks.
I wish I could have done that. You just caught me cheating.
Yeah. And like there were a few times that I'd like plagiarized stuff, like in Mr. Richardson's.
A few times? Dude,
Yeah.
there was one time John Luke straight up said he typed in like a sentence from your paper and the entire paper came up on like another website.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, Bryce plagiarized this whole thing.
Yep.
And the thing was already like 3 weeks late.
Yep.
Damn. I wish I had those kind of balls to just say like, suck them.
It wasn't even
like, really.
Just
wasn't even
here it
having-
is. Do something about it.
it wasn't even having the balls. It was just like I don't give a fuck. It wasn't like I have the balls. What are you gonna do about it?
That's
It's
still
like, I
quite a
just
bit
don't
of balls
care.
to just not care. That's a lot of balls.
It was also a lot of stupidity of not caring about.
Oh,
caring
absolutely,
About yourself.
yeah. I mean, balls and stupid, like they come, hand in hand.
I mean, it shows a lot of growth though, and like.
Oh yeah,
maybe
the
not
fact that
character developments or I don't know, like maturity, I guess. Like I mean, you've obviously like changed and become a better person. You're just talking
At
about
least I
it.
fucking hope so.
I mean, it seems like.
No, you know what it
seem
is.
Like
you know what
you
it
don't
is.
have the same thoughts like you did in high school. So that's
Bryce
good.
is just
Step in the right direction.
completely grinding to get back at that psychologist. Just fucking just getting back at him
You're
like
wrong.
fuck you. I am.
you.
I'm not
Here's why.
defiant. I'm not defiant. I'm obedient, and I joined the Marines just to be obedient and be defiant against your fucking diagnosis, you dumb bitch. Like,
But yeah, like I lied so much, like at home too, and just I just
Really?
I just been causing so many problems. I was in and out of the youth shelter, just like time and time again.
really,
What
Yeah.
was that like? Kind of because I've never.
It was
I've never even been there. Or
Me either. But
yeah,
I'd
heard about it.
it was just like over and over. I just kept going back, so they kind of got used to me,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just like it's just kind of a
But specifically, like, what was a youth shelter like?
it's like a 24/7 daycare.
really.
That's literally it. Like they
There's-
feed you.
Do you have like rooms with
Yeah,
other
well-
people, or you stay at?
Everyone has like their own separate room. I had I had a room. Obviously, it's divided, boys on this side, girls on this side, so there's no
course.
stuff. Yeah, mainly it's like for kids whose parents are, having some sort of trouble, and then they're both arrested or one of them's arrested, and this is where they take the kids.
Okay, so it doesn't sound like
is that
it
something?
doesn't sound too bad. Then.
No.
I kind of thought it'd be scary.
Is
No.
that something you can like check yourself into?
No, I mean because it's a youth shelter.
Okay.
So it's like you have to have your parents or the police do it. It's like I'd been there like a ton of times, and I just like didn't care.
So is your parents sending you there?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I mean I deserved it. It wasn't them like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not. I was just curious.
Yeah,
like
it's
if
not
you could
them
just be
saying,
like,
fuck you,
mom," and then just like walk to the youth shelter, and they're like, "All right, here's some graham crackers."
No.
Like I don't know.
No,
I have no. That's the thing. Like I have no idea what it's like, and I only have this like idea that it's just like a fucking like less scary juvenile hall. Like
Yeah, no. I mean, I went to juvie once.
That was also my assumption.
I mean, I did go to juvie once. Juvie is basically jail for kids.
really,
Like it's like a
steel
like
bars, steel tables,
Well,
bolted to the ground. Shit.
it was like I was only there for like a few days, but it was like, like the bed, coming out from the wall was like a metal slab
Mhm.
with like a light mattress.
Yeah.
There was a toilet there, but yeah, it was just like a metal door, concrete walls.
Damn. Really.
I mean, all these
That's
kids,
scary.
yeah, all these kids were in there. It's like, yeah, I like robbed a store. There was somebody in there who we went to school with, the guy who pistol whipped his grandma. He was
Ooh, yeah, I
there.
remember that.
Brady.
Yeah, he was in there. I was like,
who you are, Brady.
God, I know I was gonna do. I'm
We
not
know.
it's like I don't,
Tristan told me, Brady.
it's like I don't belong here.
Yeah,
It's like I do not belong here. And it's like I got out and I was like, dude, I'm gonna change my ways. I'm gonna. No.
Dude, he didn't only pistol whip his grandma. He like robbed her too. Like took all of her money, took a bunch
That's
of jewelry, took a bunch of shit. Like like no mask either. Like that's your grandmother.
Yeah.
Like she knows exactly who you are.
And like the
Fucking
So did you end up seeing like any fights?
no,
or, like, anything
no,
like that?
it was
or getting in any fights?
it's not prison.
no. I just
No
Yeah.
one fights in jail. Like if it's just a mini
people
jail.
fight in jail, dude.
I just no. I just kind of like
Even small, like yeah,
Mm.
dude, like idiots around here
Okay,
fight in our community jail.
Yeah,
Like,
my uncle actually told me a story about jail one time, and there was this there were these like white supremacist guys, and there was like 3 of them sitting across from him, and this black guy came and sat down right next to my uncle, and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" Like they started calling him the N-word and shit like that. And my uncle's like, "Hey, why don't you be a little nicer to this guy? Like he didn't say anything to you."
Just
He's like,
rock 'em, man.
"Why don't you just like shut up?" And the dudes are like, "What are you gonna do about it?" My uncle just like threw his tray across, stood up, and just hit the dude as hard as he could right in the fucking cheekbone.
Yeah,
Busted up his cheekbone, and like his other 2 buddies. My uncle's a huge fucking scary dude.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, just him and this black dude just start beating the piss out of these like 4 white supremacists like in jail and shit,
No,
like these
that's awesome.
skinheads.
No, hell yeah.
And like the guards came up and they ran up to my uncle and like grabbed him by the shirt And then my uncle just like turned back and looked at him. They're like, no, keep going. Like, keep going. Beat the fucking shit out of him. And he just like started.
Oh god, like the prison systems are weird. Like you can, like, I don't know, like.
But that was just jail.
Yeah.
That was just jail. That wasn't
the-
prison.
Just with like OCs or whatever the hell you're called. What are you watching people? I don't know. Like there's something like by it. Like they let a lot of things slide. It's interesting.
There were
That's all I'm talking.
there were no
about.
fights or nothing at juvie. I actually like. I deal with more criminals at work than I do with like
Yeah,
when
you work at a casino.
Yeah, I work.
The casino.
Yeah, I work a
Fond du
casino
Lac.
in downtown Duluth.
I miss blackjack
at
a lot.
The graveyard shift.
Mm.
There are so many drugs.
Yeah.
Nope.
Didn't you say like at least once a week, like somebody ODs in your bathroom?
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna mention names. Fond du Lac. I'm not mentioning names. Can't sue me.
Yeah, he's not mentioning names. Fond du Lac.
Yeah.
Can't sue him. Can't sue him. He's not mentioning names.
Nah, yeah, no.
We're just talking about your name, which is Fond du Lac.
Which is a business. Anyway.
Which is a business.
Which is a business.
It's like the amount of shit that happens there. There's like 2,500 people that are permanently banned from Fond du Lac and Black Bear.
Yeah, you were
So, like,
saying that.
There's like theft, assault, drugs. People just drop bags of meth out of their pockets.
That's
They
crazy.
just like pull out their
Holy
phones
shit.
like, oh, drop my bag of meth. And it's like people watching on the cameras like, that's interesting.
Just drop a little baggie.
You know, it happens like more often than you think.
What happens if I walked around like Fond du Lac with like a bag of blue candy, like a bunch of little dime baggies of like blue candy, and was like dropping them
like
everywhere?
dirty rock candy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Somebody would have words with you. I'm pretty sure.
We'd probably kick you out just because you're fucking with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's like the police would come by, test it, and be like, nah, it's just candy.
It's
and
candy.
We'd be like, we know what you're doing.
It's almost
Get the fuck out.
It's almost entirely sugar.
Fond du Lac does not appreciate pranks and shenanigans.
But it's like the amount of shit that we deal with on a daily basis is just
It's too
fuck.
much.
Like people would like deal drugs in the casino. People would like smoke in the casino. People OD in the bathrooms. Like that's like prime real estate for overdose.
Overdose.
Oh,
How many
God, I
people
can
have
imagine.
overdosed in the bathroom
Honestly,
since
I've
you've been
seen
there?
some
Since
characters.
I've been there, God, I've been there a year now. God, at least like 15. At least.
Overdose, like deaths?
No.
Oh.
There haven't been any deaths when I've been there.
Oh, really?
There have been, not while I've been there.
Yeah, okay. Now you've been like working and stuff. Okay. That's fair. So,
Thank
like,
God for Narcan.
Yeah, fucking right in the heart.
There's
Oh.
there's one time there's just like a jacket just like sitting on a chair,
Mhm.
and I just go by, and whenever like there's no one around, and the chair wasn't tipped. If someone's like got their chair tipped, it's like all right, they're saving their spot. Chair wasn't tipped, jacket was just sitting there. All right, so
What does a chair tipped mean?
So like at a casino, if you tip your chair, that means like you're saving your spot.
Oh, you tip it forward. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's like, hey, I got money in the machine, or maybe you don't.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I'm just going to grab a pop or a smoke or something like that.
Yeah.
And you just tip your chair, mine.
Yeah, I know that shit.
Um,
Okay. I thought you were talking, like, I did ask that you meant they were, like, tipping, like, those solid chairs. Like, because there's chairs at, like, Black
that
Bear
are bolted to the floor.
that are bolted to the floor and they only swivel. And I was like, what do you mean tipping your chair?
like
Like,
rip the chair out of the ground.
what do you mean tipping it? Like, you leave money on the chair? Like,
No.
you're tipping the chair?
Oh no, that the money would be snatched up like that.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, I just found this jacket and was like, all right, I bring it down to Players Club, which is where we look at it's got a good camera view. Set it on the counter. You do your hands like this. It's like, all right, I don't have anything in my hands. Before we go in, so I'm not planning anything. And then you put gloves on because you don't want to get stabbed.
Yep.
By a needle. And it's like you look in. It's like you just pull out a Narcan kit. And it's like, okay, I'm taking this down to dispatch to get a better look.
Nice.
There's like 4 Narcan kits in this jacket, and like one of them was in like the pocket, and the rest of them were like in the lining of the jacket. I had to like reach in through a rip and just like around the thing.
Damn.
Yeah, to just like I had to reach like around through the jacket to just get at these Narcan kits, and there was like lighters, like tins, cotton balls, and just like this dude was like ready to supply not like actual drugs, but paraphernalia.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that's crazy.
and then like
Damn. Need a little shot of adrenaline. Fucking. Right in the heart. Gotta wake up.
But yeah, that was like last year.
Fuck, that's kind of whack. Just Narcan dealer. Hey, you dying?
Oh, there's tons.
Oh, no,
of
there's-
shady
That's
shit.
$3,000. Like,
there's tons of dealers like in the casino. We got recently we booted 2 of them. Actually, recently there's one that we've wanted gone for years. Like,
why did it take you so? You're the
Why
fucking
did it gone
security.
for
Can't you
years?
just walk up and be like, get the fuck out of here?
yeah, but we like need a reason because it's got to go to the board and be like, hey, this is why we want this person gone, and then the board's got to decide,
Yeah.
like yes or no. And a lot of the like this guy like that got booted recently. We wanted him gone for years. We knew he was a dealer. We
Yeah.
knew it because like the people he
Just couldn't prove it.
yeah no the people like he'd come in and then people just keep going to him, keep going up to him,
Yeah.
and then they'd leave and maybe like one of those 2 people would like drop a baggie or like another one would like OD in the bathroom. It's like we understand what's going on here, dude.
Can't you have the courtesy to like go to like the nearest Quick Trip and OD in their bathroom?
Yeah,
Like,
get out of here. This
why
is
can't you?
this is a gaming center.
Casinos
Go
are
away.
Nice places.
Yeah, why can't
go
you-
find somewhere less public?
You're already buying the drugs there. Why do you think that bathroom's for you? No, that's so your dealer can keep dealing and take a piss. Like, go find the nearest gas station and OD in their toilet. Like, come
Drugs
on.
are a crazy thing, man. People
yeah.
just need their fix. That's nuts.
Right. Oh, thanks, buddy. I'm gonna walk 30 feet away and
Right
go
into
shoot
the
up.
bathroom, God, ick.
God. Well, it's a good thing they got cleaners like 24/7 because that shit would be nasty.
Yeah, there was another guy OD'd in the bathroom. I wasn't there that day, but you know he OD'd in the bathroom. He got booted. He tries to come in like another day, and I'm sitting at the front desk. Hands me his ID, and I'm like, "Dude, you're not allowed in. Why? You really want it? You really don't know? No, dude, you OD'd on heroin in the bathroom. Oh no, that was insulin.
I'm diabetic, bro.
Really?
Too much insulin, homie. It's okay now, though.
It's like you tossed the heroin into the toilet and tried to flush it, dude."
Dude, what do you guys do about prostitutes though? Because like I know, like if I go to Black Bear, like there's prostitutes to pick from. There's like a lot.
Are there,
Oh,
do I
yeah.
Do I just not see them? Like, what the hell?
Oh God, no! Go.
I never noticed
Mainly
like
it's like-
prostitutes at volleyball.
We can't really, if they're just like sitting there waiting for you to approach them, can't do nothing about it. Because like we don't have proof that they're prostitutes.
Go to any one of the bars at like Black Bear.
Oh, I'm very.
I don't know
well
about
aware.
Fond du Lac. I don't know about Fond du Lac. I've
Bars,
never.
Okay, I've never been like the
But it's like
bar.
the only way.
Oh yeah, prostitutes are huge.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But like the only way that you can like do anything to get them banned is if like let's say, like let's say you're just sitting there and some chick goes up to you, hey, give me $20 and I'll make you have a good time.
Okay.
And then it's like, fuck no, you go to security. Hey, this chick's just trying to blow me for $20. And it's like, all right, then we'll kick her out. We'll get her name, get her
Ooh,
picture, kick her out.
that's too much power. I might do that to the next bitch
I
that.
agree.
I mean,
Might do that to the next bitch that's winning at blackjack. Like it might be like, hey, this chick tried to fuck me for $100. Like,
no, like major hustler right now. Like some chick walks up to you and says that. You just go, all right, now you're gonna give me $100 not to go report you.
Just finesse them.
that'd be pretty good. But there's another one. Like let's say, you're a chick.
Yeah.
Some dude comes up, hey, I'll pay you $100. Let's go fuck. And then chick's like, fuck no, you're ugly, dude.
reverse gigolo.
Yeah.
Gigolo.
I would
Yeah.
love to see. Hold on. Now that you bring that up, like this just popped into my head, but I would love to see like if let's say like we took like we just took like a big dude, like a big fat man who's like 5'8". We just took like a big fat dude. We had him walk up to a bunch of women and be like, "Hey, I'll give you $100 or $500 to fuck me right now in my hotel room." Like how many women he could walk up to before he either got reported, one said yes, or one punched him.
Or
Just
versus
like
like
assault
another
me,
guy who
like,
actually
kicked
like
out.
versus
Like,
me
God.
versus me who's like a solid like 6 with a strong beard and no acne. I could probably
if I've been drinking all night.
if you've been drinking all night. Yeah, a 5 if you're sober, but at a casino where the lights are
Oh,
dimmed.
at a casino, God, you'd be like an 8.
Yeah, exactly.
The amount of the people that go in there just
So what I'm saying is like how many women would I have to talk to before either he got a no, a hard no, or a yes until I got like a no,
It
hard
depends
no.
on
or
the
a
it
yes.
depends on the woman, I guess.
How hot was she, bro? Well, about a 5, but she was a casino 8.5.
She had the wrinkles and everything.
Because you have access to like the database and you read all the reports from Black Bear and Fond du Loup and you can look historically.
I bet those reports are like relatively half-assed. No, half-assed though. I bet they suck.
Some of them are, but some of them are just pure gold. Like there was one of there's a security guard who was off duty, and he was just sitting there, and a girl goes up to him and is like, "Hey, if you pay me $100, I'll suck your dick." And like he talked her down to 20.
Damn.
And then he talked her down to 20. He was like, $20. All right, fine. And then it was like, all right, let me just run to my car, grab my wallet. Goes up to security guard. Hey, this chick's trying to blow me. So he's like fucking with her.
I'd haggle. I'd for sure haggle. I'd be like $20. Or I'd be like $100. What do you fucking just get my dick sucked? That's it.
And you like haggled her down to like $20, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna report you to security.
Damn, they always got to start high though. You always got to haggle with prostitutes.
Yeah. I don't know
We're
personally.
just not engage in prostitution. God,
dude, did you know that it's actually?
I do not support it.
In the Netherlands, it's considered a basic human right to have sex. So if you are disabled. The government in the Netherlands will give you money to have sex 12 times a year.
God, imagine like
once a month.
Like the first
crazy.
of the month, like at brothels, just like,
yep.
Like, oh God, here come the retarded people.
Well, yeah. I mean, they make good money. Like they make good money off that.
it's good government money.
But most of the time, it's just like. Most of the time, it's not like disabled people who like capitalize on that kind of thing, or mentally disabled. I should say.
Like physically disabled,
it's like physically disabled people who are like lonely, or they like have a hard time working. They're in wheelchairs, stuff like that. Like the government actually subsidizes you so you can get sex 12 times a year because they believe it's a basic human right.
That's fair.
Which honestly, it kind of is. Like without pussy, like I go kind of crazy.
Oh, I know.
Like 3 months without it, that's like hell. That's like already torture. For somebody like me who's like 3 months was the longest I went since I like first initially had it, and that was when I was like with when I was with Molly like way back in the day, like a long time ago. But like we went like 3 months separated, right? When I was in Denmark, and like when I came back, it was like I was like a ravaging animal. Like I came back, I was all hairy, just full of cum and like testosterone, like not relieving any of it, like. Just a fucking nasty caveman. Like
there's
fuck, like just jerking off both hands.
I remember, after boot camp, which was just 3 months of just guys, no girls. You've never seen a woman. And, and just like right after boot camp, just like my girlfriend at the time. She's a bitch. Anyway, my girlfriend at the time.
Doing call outs here.
Talking about bets.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep. She's like a year ago. She just kind of like dropped me cold turkey. I'm like, you bitch. Anyway, after I got back from boot camp, it was just like I don't even know that it was like 5 minutes, like in her car before we pulled off on a side road and just fucked. It's like we could because even like for her, me too. It's just like 3 months of just like not doing anything.
Oh yeah.
And then it's just like all of a sudden you're back, just like
fuck like rabbits.
Yeah, that's
literally fuck like rabbits. That's literally how it is. And it's wonderful. I love the human sex drive. I love the fact that we were given like this fucking chemical in our brain that gets released just to get us to reproduce because it feels so fucking good. Feels so fucking good.
It's just like you're just sitting there, just like, I'm having a nice day, and then all of a sudden you need a fuck.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I took so Jordan, who was on the podcast, he got kicked in the dick when he was like 13 or 14. He got kicked in the dick hard. Like this girl straight up punted his ball sack and his penis into his fucking pelvis, like as hard as she could.
That physically hurts me.
It like broke his dick. He had a catheter for like over a year. He couldn't piss on his own for like over a year. So like he has a hard time like getting it up sometimes. So he has has prescription like Blue Chew Viagra's is what it is, and he gave me one. And he's like, dude, you gotta like try it out. Just see how it feels. Like, just try it out. And I was like, I always wanted to try Viagra. Like, I want to give it a shot. And so I did. just the other day. And when I tried it, I was like, okay, like once it got to the point where I thought it was going to stop, I was like, it was just like a normal erection. I was like, yeah, this is like manageable. Like, I don't know what Jordan was talking about, because Jordan told a story where he was at the bar with Sydney, and he went up to Sydney like half an hour after taking it, and he's like, drive me home right now. And she's like, what's the problem? He's like, I need to jerk off this instant. He's like, I cannot go on with the rest of my life without jerking off right fucking. He's like, you're lucky I'm not in the bathroom jerking off. So she drove him home. And, like, that story resonated with me. So I was like, I'm going to see how really rough these are. And, like, I just had, like, the normal like, it got to that point where it's typically stops, like, normally. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this ain't bad. Like, what is he talking about? You know, like, I just have a boner. Like, I'm in class, 16 years old in, like, math class or something. Like,
you'd randomly get it.
Just getting this pubescent boner. Like, there's no issue here. And then, like, out of nowhere, I got this feeling that went from the tip of my dick all the way to my asshole, like through my body, like the whole pathway, if there is one, from the tip of your dick to your asshole. I don't know if there is.
Might have taken a shortcut or two.
Yeah, but all I know is, like, I got a feeling there, and it felt like it was connected somehow through me, and it was just like my dick telling me it needed something. And I've never had my dick, like, need something from me. It's always wanted.
Yep.
It's always wanted, but it's never needed. Where, like, my dick was like, if we don't, come now,
you're going to die.
He's like, we're going to drive you insane, and you're going to kill yourself. So that was the conversation I had with my penis, for those of you who are listening. But
all right, okay, I'm gonna rain it in. I'm putting my foot down. We're done with this sex talk.
Viagra's they work.
We're done.
They work, and they work.
We're gonna talk about real things now.
Pretty aggressively. It's
no more, please.
So unnecessary. What time you said you work at 4?
I work at 6. So I got plenty of time.
Okay, because I was super fucking worried about that. I was like, fuck, he works at 4. Like, the earliest I can get back is 2. Fuck.
No, I got plenty of time.
All right. I'm just making sure. Yeah, we gotta rein that in off the boner.
Yeah, let's talk about something with some substance. So, what do you guys think about for the future of baseball? You see the Marlins.
We're not talking about baseball.
I don't. You know,
I saw the Twins were
in
looking
general.
good.
I know you love to talk about the coronavirus, so there's your little tangent into that. But like literally anything with the dick talk.
Just stop.
You shouldn't have gave me the beer stein. I'm gonna have to give it a minute before I go to the gym.
I didn't give you that. Let me know when you go to the gym, though. I gotta stop being fat.
I'm probably going to the gym like right after this.
Yeah, I need to drop weight too, because like I realize that now that I'm getting.
I noticed you got some titties on you now, buddy.
Yeah, but now that I'm getting like.
Been just sitting around playing video games, eating Taco Bell 3 times a day, or what?
Basically, what it's been. But like now that I'm getting into active duty for 8 months.
Yeah.
I just realized that I am 8 pounds over the Marine Corps weight standard.
Okay, well, I was like 15 or 20 when I tried for the Air Force, so...
What is the Marine Corps weight standard?
Well, for my height, which is 6'1", 6'2"-ish...
it's like 205?
202, actually.
Oh, okay, so
I weigh about 210-ish. Like, I'm not sure the exact weight. Yeah, I need to drop like 8 pounds in a month.
So if you were under, would they have a problem with that too, or would they rather have you under than over?
Like, if the acceptable weight standard is, X to Y. If you're under X, they're just going to feed you more.
Yeah.
And if you're over, they put you on what's called BCP, which I don't know what it stands for. Marine Corps loves their acronyms. But basically, it's like, hey, you're fat. Mm-hmm. Get unfat. And they just make you do extra exercise. That's kind of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even with the Air Force, they were like talking about it. When I weighed myself, he's like, yeah, you got to be at like 205. And when they weighed me, I was like 220 at the time. And this was like right after high school. I was like 220 pounds. He's like, yeah, you just either have to drop like 15 pounds or we can do like a body fat pinch test. And he's like, you just have to be under 20%. And I was like, damn, that's kind of a lot. Like 20% body fat. And we did a pinch test and I was at like 22 or something like that at the time. But it was just like, and at the same time, he's like, well, I mean, if you're close enough, we can like, wiggle the threshold a little bit. He's like, we could say you're, 215 and, or your body fat percentage was 19%. Like, I was like,
in the military, like they tend to help you out quite a bit. Like,
that's what I've heard. That's what Levi told me.
Yeah, with like the PFT, which is our physical fitness test.
Yeah.
There's like pull-ups, crunches, and a 3-mile run. Mm-hmm. You can't really like cheat on the pull-ups or the 3 mile run. Like the crunches, you have a partner who's like sits on your feet and holds your leg and counts for you.
Mm-hmm.
And basically it'll be like, you're doing the crunches like 1, 2, 3, 14, 15, 16, 17, 21, 22, 20. It's just like you just like skip numbers.
Damn.
And it's like the minimum, like mainly everybody makes the right, makes maximum on sit-ups.
Okay.
If you don't, your partner's fucking you.
Damn. Maximum? Like, what's maximum?
Maximum is we get 2 minutes and you got to do 115 crunches.
Oh,
It's not bad.
that sounds awful.
I've had maximum every time I've taken the test.
Yeah, but they were counting like 1, 2, 3,
No,
14, 15, 16, 18, 19,
even without
30, 31,
without that,
32.
like I've gotten maximum.
Oh, okay.
Like
Even doing it for real?
yeah,
That's whack.
and like
115 crunches sounds like crazy to me because I haven't done a crunch in like 5 years.
for my leg strength and my ab strength are good. It's my arm strength that's like weak.
That's a difference for me. like I was at the gym and I was like squatting and I threw 315 on the bar and I like squatted that twice and like after the second rep I was like, holy fuck, like I can't do that again. I was like, if I try it, I'll fucking collapse. I swear to God. And thinking about that, like from what I used to be able to do in high school, like before I herniated my back, before I tore my patellar tendon in my knee, and before I fucked up my ankles, like I was squatting close to like 365. And like my legs have always been really strong. It's just like these last few years in college, I don't know. When I was in Dickinson, I didn't work on my legs at all. It was all upper body.
Yeah, when I was in boot camp, like
Big old boy.
ooh, yeah, when
Big old arms.
I was in boot camp, I kind of fucked myself.
But let me tell you, big
injury.
arms are a hassle. Let me interrupt you here just for a second. Big arms are a fucking hassle. You know why?
Why is
'Cause you
that?
can't fucking itch anything on your back. If your back itches and there's no corner or back scratcher in sight,
beefy.
you're gonna suffer. You're gonna fucking suffer.
Just too
Not
beefy.
fun.
Too beefy.
Fucking like that's about as far as I can get right there. Like, I look like a fucking dinosaur that had his back broken. Like
Scoliosis.
yeah, exactly. Can't read shit.
Or like in
But what you were saying.
yeah, I kind of fucked up my hip in boot camp. Like we were doing the CFT practice run. CFT is a combat fitness test.
Wait, was it like a fall or like over time?
It was a fall, but I carried a guy who was like 300 pounds. Yeah, he was. He was tall, but he was big.
Yeah.
And like I was carrying him, and I shouldn't have been carrying him because I was skinny as fuck. Like in boot camp, I weighed like 180 ish,
Okay.
and I was carrying him, and just like I planted my foot wrong, and just like my hip just kind of like snapped,
Okay.
and I go down on the ground, I'm fucking screaming.
Your hip snapped.
But like not literally the
Okay,
bone or nothing,
okay.
but like drill instructors coming over like, get the fuck up, stand up, you're just a bitch, stop fucking freaking, get the because that's their job. They're just trying to like make you continue to work through pain and stress. That's why they're always constantly yelling at you, because you got to be able to think cognitive thoughts when you're like
Under stress.
Yeah, like in combat kind of thing. So basically, I just kind of like drag myself over to the side, like towards the corpsman. I'm like, "Help me!" they're just like following me, screaming, just like, "Get the fuck up! Help me!" so like I just go over there. And
Was it like a physical loss of like movement in your legs, or was it like?
So what happened was the meniscus, which is like the bit of cartilage that connects your hip bone to the socket. Like I had tears in that.
Your meniscus.
Yeah.
Isn't your meniscus? No, I'm thinking of an MCL. My bad.
Yeah, but that in your hip, it was my left hip. It just basically I had like kind of micro tears in there, and they just like kept getting worse. But basically, like in boot camp, like if you get injured, you drop to, I forget what it's called, but basically you're just sitting there until you get better. And it's like, I don't want to fucking do this. I'm gonna get this over with as quick as possible.
Yeah.
This was like week 3. Week 4 is swim week.
Oh no.
So it's like I was on crutches until swim week.
Okay.
And then after swim week, you go right up to Camp Pendleton. So it's like...
So you don't get to skip it. They make you do it again.
Yeah, basically you just sit out until you feel better, and then they just make you rejoin somebody else. So it's like I didn't want to do that because I'd already like... There's already 2 guys in my platoon who had been doing that, and one of them was just a malingerer, which is like he fakes being sick because he's a pussy.
Okay.
And everybody hated him. He was a bitch. he's not in.
Okay.
He didn't even finish boot camp. He
Oh,
got
okay,
separated.
really?
Yeah, because he was just malingering the entire time.
Shit. So he's like faking, like, oh, I'm sick today. I have an injury.
Yep.
Fuck
And
those guys.
yeah. So like I messed up my hip pretty bad.
Yeah.
And it was like, hey, so either you get better or you get dropped. I was like, fuck no. So I was only on like crutches for a week, and then it was swim week. I swam fine. And
I'm imagining swimming actually probably strengthened your hips.
Well, swim week is like a day. It's a day of testing.
Fuck.
Because like
Well,
basically
why do you call it swim week? Like, what the fuck?
Because there are 3 days of swimming, but it's like 90% of the Marines will do just day 1, and that's all they need. Like day 2 is for I think combat engineers and infantry. I'm probably wrong on this, but day 2 is like for combat engineers, infantry, and recon, and then day 3 is just recon, which is basically like the Marine Corps Special Forces.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Recon is not only like the snipers, but also like special forces units
like
and
the Marine Raiders.
Yeah,
Those are the badass guys.
The badasses.
Yeah, like you hear about the Navy SEALs more than them.
Yeah.
I don't know who's better, to be honest. I haven't looked into it.
What is it in the Marines? It's special. It's like Marine Special Forces, but like way up there.
Yeah, that's the Raiders.
That's what it is?
Yep.
That's what it's called?
Yep.
Okay.
Recon.
Okay.
And then, so basically, I did fine on the first, the only day I had to do swim. I was fine. And then we went up to Camp Pendleton. And, I was fine. I was in pain, but I was on some painkillers, not heavy ones, but I was doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I continued boot camp, and I was, still in pain, but I was fine.
Of course.
And then, like, the last thing you got to do is called the Crucible, which is like 3
I've heard
days.
about that, yeah.
It's ass.
3 days, like no sleep.
Well, you do get sleep. That's a common misconception, but it's only like 5 hours.
Yeah,
a day.
over 3 days?
No, 5 hours a day.
Oh.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Crucible. That's like my prime sleeping hours right there. 5 hours, I'm golden.
Yeah, but it's like you're just walking. Like, I don't know the exact mileage count of how much you walk, but you walk a fucking ton.
Yeah, don't you walk for like 20 hours straight one day?
Yeah, and well, you walk a ton, and like you do little stations here that are all based on like Medal of Honor winners and Navy Cross winners, kind of to go through what they went through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like these team building exercises. It's like, all right, rely on yourself and your fellow Marines to finish this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was like the day before and then like the last day is the Reaper hike. The Reaper is like this big ass mountain that you got to climb, and once you're on top, you get your Eagle Globe and Anchor, and you become a Marine.
Really?
I think it was the night before we did the Reaper hike. Like we were we were going downhill or something. I stepped on a rock wrong, and my hip just popped.
Oh.
And like I go over to like the aid shack or whatever it is at that station, and like when you bent your knee, and you just straighten it out, like my hip. Which is like every time it straightened out, just pop, and it just kept popping.
That's not good.
And the doctor's like, "What the fuck is this?" And the drill instructor's like, "What the fuck is that?" And it's like every time I would like straighten my hip, it just like pop every single time, and it was just like
that's fucked up.
Yeah, it was awful, and it was like, so I go to the Camp Pendleton Hospital with one of the drill instructors, and he kind of falls asleep in the waiting room. And they do an MRI. It's like, all right, here's the thing. You're on your second to last day. Tomorrow's like the last day before you're a Marine and you're fine. You either get dropped and you fall back 2 weeks, or you
push through,
or you take these drugs, push through.
Oh, I would have taken the drugs.
So I took the drugs.
If it wasn't just pure heroin and pure cocaine, I don't think I would have made it though.
Yeah, no,
the fucked up hip.
So
There's no way.
I took the drugs, and like
There's no way.
I was supposed to
Was
take
it
2.
for the Fendies, Oxys, all that? Wouldn't have made it.
See, I took 2 of the pills. Well, no, they said take 2. I took 4 on the way up.
You gotta
on the way up the Reaper, and just like, I mean, like you march like together to the Reaper, and then once you're there, they kind of like you attack the hill, which everyone just fucking runs up the hill. And I was like one of the first 4 up the hill. I was like, Mo, aren't you broken? Aye, sir. And I'm just like high off my ass.
Oh yeah, Just fucking so high, you don't even know like how high you really are in physical life. You're just like, you look down, you're like, oh, the ground looks small. Fucking
But yeah,
keep climbing.
It was like one of the first 4 up, and I was just like fucking high off my ass on whatever painkillers I got. And so we get up there, I get my hemoglobin anchor, then you get the walk back. It's called the zombie walk. Because, like, you got up the hill, now you got to go down the hill and all the way back.
Oh, you were probably just fucking running down the hill. You were
No, everyone,
still high off those fuckers.
But everyone's like, they hate it because, like, all right, they got all the effort, now they're Marines, now it's just like, now that everyone's lazy, it's like, I don't want to fucking do this. That's why it's a zombie walk, because it's just like, everyone's like, that's just
it's not a zombie walk because you're just so exhausted, like, you basically just crawl it. It's just a zombie walk because it's just, like, busy work.
Yeah.
It's just, like, another thing you got to do, and you're like, fuck.
Because, like, you're already Marine at that point, so it's like, fuck.
But what if, like, you don't do that? You just roll down the hill. You just jump off, like, a partial cliff and just slide down the dirt.
Yeah, then I think you're more injured than me. Anyway.
Fair.
Gotta love that.
After boot camp, you come home for 10 days or whatever, and then you go back to MCT, and I was it's like, hey.
What's
like,
MCT?
Marine combat training. Basically, everybody who's not infantry does Marine combat training. Everyone in infantry does infantry training battalion, which is ITB.
Okay.
So I did MCT.
Where does AIT come into play?
I think that's just the Army version.
Really?
Yeah, well,
like,
what does AIT stand for?
Like your job.
Oh, that's
like job
after
training.
That's after MCT.
Okay.
So basically.
So what is it for you? What's the acronym for you guys? Just so everyone's on the same page.
The schoolhouse.
That's all you call it.
Schoolhouse. It's like your MOS school.
Okay. All right, but this is MCT.
Yeah, MCT, the combat training. So it's like, hey, go to medical, get checked out, to make sure you're all good to do MCT.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, they do an MRI, X-ray, whatever, of my hip, and they're like, how are you walking? And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, your hip is fucked.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like, they took like the MRI or X-ray or whatever they did, like, when I first injured my hip, and then they did the one, like, right before, like, the day before the Reaper when I heard it again, and then like today it's like you can just see it progressively getting worse.
Oh fuck yeah, you can.
And it's just like you shouldn't be walking.
No, not at all. Like no, go ahead.
It's like the timeline for an injury like I had is like 3 months sitting out. So it's like you should not have completed boot camp. You should have been just like sitting on the side. It's like no.
So
I was in.
I mean, that's still impressive. I mean, that's resilience right there.
I was just on drugs.
Wow, yeah.
So
I attribute a lot of that to drugs.
Yep. But like I was. So I had to sit out in a holding platoon for a month, which you sit there and you do nothing because it's like basically people who are injured and just waiting to go to MCT or ITB.
Mm-hmm. Do you want another one?
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
But it's like just sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
To do anything. It's like basically you just clean and then you do nothing. You sit on your phone and then you're not even allowed to sit on your phone.
That's what combat training is?
No. That's the holding company.
Oh.
Yeah, and then when you get into the combat training, that's when you do more hikes and more.
Yeah, of course.
Then you do night shooting, which is you get your night vision goggles, NVGs.
And that sounds fun as fuck.
Well, you see them in the movie, and it looks like clear and green, and everything's nice. Like no, these are ass.
Hollywood is a total scam.
No,
you
can only see like 30 meters.
It's only over one.
You can only see like 30 meters in front of you, can't you?
It's only over one eye
as
well.
Yeah,
and it's
so it's also like a super big cunt for like fucking depth perception and shit.
Yeah, but
it's like here's this little shitty monocle, see through it.
But our combat instructor said that those night vision goggles have been used and abused more than a Filipino hooker.
Ooh.
Yeah, that is the term he used.
Good Lord.
But yeah, basically, like
it's quite used and quite abused.
Like they're awful because it's like the ones you get brand new, like if you're in a recon or infantry and you're doing nighttime stuff, like they're new, they're smooth, they go down and they're fixated on your eye and they haven't been set for anyone else's. These ones are all wobbly and they like slide off and it's just
fuck.
They're not attached to your eye, not affixed to your eye, so it's like you're walking, just like fuck, there's a rock. It's like you can't fucking see. They're just ass.
That's fun. So it's not like the 4 thing that you see in Call of Duty It's not like the big helmet with like the four. It looks like a
You can, like, snap it
wide ass
down.
binoculars,
It's just-
and
yeah.
you snap it down, slide it across. Like
No,
it's perfect lineup every time. Like
not at all.
no,
Call
not
of
even
Duty
close.
is setting up a bunch of nerds for failure. Then.
Dude, it really. I actually went and talked to the Marine recruiter when he came to Cloquet, and I walked in and I was like, and I asked the question. Josh, you know,
Yep.
Civilier, huh?
He's in my unit.
Yeah. So
he's in my
Josh
unit.
was there.
Civilier.
Josh was there, and I asked the Marine recruiter. I was like, "You think
Shout
like
out
video?"
Raven.
I was like, "Do you think like video games and like, you know, like Call of Duty, Battlefield, all that shit's like putting a, you know, an idea into people's heads, like making them want to join the military?" And the Marine was like, "Oh hell yeah."
Oh, yeah.
And like everyone laughed, and I was just like, I was expecting like a more in-depth answer, like, "Oh yeah, we're not getting like those kind of kids. Like we get to weed them out and, you know, get the kids that like want to actually do the Marines." But at the end of the day, it is like quite a few people who
Yeah.
are just
People will sign up for the Marines like literally just like, I want to join infantry. All right, why do you want to join? I want to kill people.
yeah.
All right, but like, why do you know? I want to fucking kill people, and that's literally it.
Yeah. There was a guy in. I went to a career fair and I talked to him about being a gunner on a tank, and he was in the army. And I was like, "Why'd you join the army?" You know, I was like, I'm thinking about it. I want to do it. Why'd you do it? He's like, "Oh, I just wanted to kill people," and I was like,
Yep.
I don't want to kill people, so this might not be for me.
Like one of my combat instructors, he was kind of like an old grizzled kind of sandy veteran kind of guy. And he's seen combat. He's killed people.
Damn.
He was a tow gunner, but at one point he had to hop off onto a 50 cal, and they were driving through, and there was like some ridge line. He was telling us his story because, you know, he was our combat instructor, and he was like, we were looking at this ridge, and all of a sudden like 4 guys come up, and I just swing my 50 cal and just cut them all in half. And then there was a truck that pulled up kind of at the bottom of the ridge, and there's a 50 cal or a 30 cal or something on some gun mounted on the back.
Yeah.
And the gunner had like already been shot, but the guy driving didn't know. He just kept driving and basically just lined up perfectly and just shot like 6 50 cal rounds into the, you know, in through the windshield at the driver. It's like there was no driver left. There was just like nuggets of person.
Damn, and like being that close to see like the damage that you've done
Oh yeah, it's
to
like
like that
it's like-
person.
It's like he said he opened the door and just like pieces fell out.
Dude, how is that not like just absolutely surreal? Because like,
Because it's not like I'm like I need to kill these people because the government is telling me to or whatever. It's like I kill these guys or I die.
yeah,
Or my friends
Yeah,
die.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like you don't think about like the consequences of, oh, this is another person's son or brother or father.
yeah,
It's
they're
like,
they're the enemy,
yeah,
and
this
that's like
person
the
is
whole
gonna
point.
kill me and kill my friends unless I kill them first.
Yeah, that's like one of the biggest things instilled in military is
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's the enemy, and they're there to kill you. So
Yep.
if you want to live, you better kill them. Like that's
You-
like a
You can die for your country, I'll live for mine.
that's a
You know?
stepping stone
Yeah.
for sure. But it's just like crazy. I couldn't even fathom. Like, because at the same time, like, yeah, that is the enemy, and like, yeah, that's been instilled in you for like the past 9 months, and you've been, you know, dehydrated and essentially broken down as a human being and built up as a soldier. That's like the way it goes in like training, and
Oh, yeah.
basic training and like boot camp and shit like that. But like just to see like the aftermath of like what you've done, especially with like a 50 cal, and you just shred 4 people and just watch them split in half. How fucked up would that be?
Yeah, it's gotta be nasty. I mean, we read a bunch of like really good books in school about war, and like they talk about their first like actual kill and just like how kind of emotionally devastating that is. And like, yeah, like you said, it's almost unfathomable. It's just like I can't imagine myself like taking somebody else's life.
No.
But like
Yeah,
Bryce said, it's just like you want to go home at the end of the day, and you have an obligation, and it's that camaraderie they've instilled. It's like you're not gonna let your brothers die, you're not gonna let yourself die, and like you said, yeah, you can die for your country. I'd love to live for mine.
Yeah, it's like me personally, I've never had experience. I do paperwork.
Yeah.
That's it. The most experience that I've had with
Shout
combat
out
is
bureaucrats.
the most combat experience I've ever had is at the casino, like tackling some drunk dude because he wanted to swing at my supervisor. Like, I was just reading a book over AT. It's called Breakthrough or Breakout. I can't remember the title.
Who's the author? Do you know?
No, but it's about the Chosen Reservoir campaign of the Korean War.
Oh wow.
And
My
that
grandpa
was,
actually told me about that.
the Chosen Reservoir was fucked. That was like, besides Iwo Jima, or actually maybe included, or maybe more than Iwo Jima, it's like the most Marine casualties in one single battle.
Yeah.
Because it was like,
Because my grandpa was a Marine.
yep.
He was a Marine in Korea. So he knew all about this shit.
Yeah,
and he
so-
was like telling me a small story about it, like how many people died.
Oh, yeah.
And like how many people got injured and pulled onto helicopters. He said they were sitting there. He wasn't there, but he said they had helicopters coming in for 4 days straight
Oh, yeah.
with injured soldiers. And each helicopter had like 3 or 4 injured soldiers on it.
Yeah, because it was like, what happened was, the person in charge of the Korean campaign, who was in charge of X-Corps, was General Almond.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what he did is he basically pushed up into North Korea and then spread his forces too thin.
Yeah.
And
Tried to create like a wall.
Yep. And then the Chinese attacked. And they were just like, they didn't even care about like superior fighting tactics or like artillery or planes or nothing. They just sent bodies. They just sent waves of people.
It's just a bunch of Chinese people with butter knives.
Basically,
They just came in and just overran
No,
the
they,
Marines.
they had these like shitty guns, like
Yep. Chinese-made guns.
yeah, like off of an assembly line.
Yep.
And wearing tennis shoes.
Yep. They would. Half of those guns didn't even work. It was like 50 or like 65% of the guns worked.
Yeah, and they're called burp guns because you're like
Yep.
bleh, bleh, and it was just like they're just spit out the bullets. And I remember reading one part of the
God.
I was reading one part of the book where it's like some dude had just been like shooting the Chinese with a machine gun or whatever.
Yeah.
And he had killed like dozens, and like he didn't feel anything. But then they had to like disassemble their machine gun and go back, and then there's like, fuck, I forgot the tripod. So he went up to get the tripod, and then just some Chinese dude just like chilling there and just like stares at him, and he just stares back, grabs the tripod, just like cracks him across the head, kills him in one hit. Like just swing like a bat with a tripod.
Like hold on, like this tripod, like a tripod like that.
Like a fucking heavy
Something you'd stand a
metal
gun on.
Yeah. That's what I was.
A little bit smaller, but
Yeah, I was
essentially
gonna say like
Yeah,
those
like
are hard
that.
to swing.
Yeah, basically just cracked the dude's skull in half, and he's like, and he went down and like told the reverend, he's like I've killed dozens of people. This is the only kill that I feel bad about. He's like, he saw you. He was pulling out his pistol. It's either you kill him or he kill you. That's it.
Yeah, and that's like the hardest thing to realize about like war and shit is like those people are there, but like at the same time it's like they don't, you don't have to kill them, but if you don't, you're gonna die.
Yeah, I have the highest respect for military members. That's why I played taps, the funeral song for the military on my trumpet.
Yeah, you talked about that. You do that as well, don't you?
Yep, I joined the
Honor Guard.
Honor Guard in Cloquet with the VFW, American Legion, DAV.
Yep.
And I play taps at military funerals, and I've been playing taps with them for about 5 years previously.
Oh wow,
on
really?
Memorial Day, just like because they go to 10 different cemeteries. Like my first 2 years where I was just in high school, then my last 3 years I was wearing my dress blues. This year because of the whole COVID thing, all of them were canceled, but I still went out there anyway to play because I feel like they deserve that.
Absolutely. And you're a young enough, healthy enough human being. You don't have any other underlying conditions where like you can go out there and play taps, and if you get infected, you're not going to die from it.
No, well, hopefully not.
More than likely,
yeah. But it was
99.7% chance of living. So
yeah, I went out there, and then 2 of the Honor Guard members went out there. 2 of the captains of the Honor Guard, and they were like, "Yeah, we would have called other people from the Honor Guard too, but we know they all would have shown up, so we didn't because like we couldn't have this, so we just needed this to be unofficial. So we just had 2 of us, one with the flag, me with the trumpet, and then the other calling orders like present arms, and then I'd play. And
playing taps is playing the trumpet, right?
Oh yeah, not electric recording, just like an actual trumpet.
Okay, that's sweet.
Yeah,
that's really impressive. Thank you.
I don't like the thank the guys who came back. Thank the guys in the ground.
Well, I mean, my great grandfather, he had taps played for him. He had the Honor Guard come for him, and he was a World War II vet, and rest his soul. But when they came, it was all old, all older guys who had been at World War II.
Yeah, the thing that
they had to play a recording because one of them actually had he had his lung taken out, so he only had one left. So like his breathing capacity was like half of ours, and smoking for however many years.
The one message I guess I want to put out on this podcast: if you're someone who's young, and was in the military, join the honor guard. Go to these funerals. Help out.
I bet
they deserve that.
I bet it's honestly like life changing to go there.
Honestly, is like the first year that
probably humbling.
The first year that I ever played taps with them, I remember it was a cemetery out in Esco, and this old lady in a wheelchair was wheeled up to me by I think her son, and she comes up to me, shakes my hands like thanks for playing, and I was like no, don't thank me, thank the guys who were actually in, all that kind of stuff, and she's like no, I wanted to thank you because the only time I ever saw my dad cry was when taps was played, so I wanted to thank you, and I was like, it hit me there. Of like how much this means to people. I was like, as long as I can do this, I will do this. I'm gonna keep doing this.
And like, I remember DC and like the changing of the guard and like the tomb of the unknown soldier or whatever.
Yeah.
Like all that was like very surreal, like somber. It was crazy. Like I want to go back to DC so bad.
Yeah, like a friend of mine, like she was looking through her grandpa's stuff and she found a Purple Heart, and Purple Heart didn't have a name on it. It didn't belong to her grandpa. And she was like, yeah, what do I do with this? And she's just kind of like holding it around, like doing whatever with it. I'm like, give it to me. And you got to treat it with respect. Like somebody bled for this. So it's like, is there somewhere like, I know this sounds dumb, but like a china cabinet with like picture frames somewhere that, is kind of off limits. You hold like family memories and stuff. So I just kind of like laid it there. It's like, you got to be like, you got to honor this.
Yeah, you got to treat it like it's a porcelain doll, really. Like you can't be swinging it around, fucking with it and shit. Like my grandpa's
like an extension of themselves almost.
Yeah, it really is, and that's like, and they're rare too. That's another big thing. It's like my grandpa, he didn't have any Purple Hearts, but I know he had like he had like a Medal of Honor, and
a Medal of Honor.
I think so.
Congressional Medal of Honor.
I think so.
The rarest.
Maybe not. Probably not. He said he never did anything like significant in his time in World War II.
So maybe like a Silver Star or Bronze Star?
It was a star.
Okay, so I'm guessing a Bronze Star.
I thought it was a Gold Star, but it might have been bronze. It was probably bronze now I think about it.
Because Medal of Honor, that's like the highest award.
It probably wasn't
given by the President of the United States.
I don't know, but he had a couple medals from being in World War II. And we were like, we took all of the medals that he had because at the time he had them in this tiny little wooden box. They were stuffed in there, like stuffed. Like there wasn't any more room. You were literally compacting like air out of like the actual material that goes around your neck and like the actual pin material and shit. He was literally compacting air, and a couple of them were like bent and shit because he just forced them in there, shut them in this box, locked it, threw it in his closet.
A lot of people don't want to remember.
That's the thing. He might have been 93 when I talked to him about it. But yeah, I think he was like 92 or 93 years old, and I was doing a report for English class my freshman year, and I tried to ask him about the war, tried to ask him questions about it. He wouldn't talk about it. Refused to talk about it. He's like, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about this. So he only talked about his life prior to the war.
My dad was in Nam, and remember when he came into class and talked about Nam?
Doing acid,
me some
and
funny
hookers.
stories, acid and hookers, and Richardson. It's cool with the hooker talk.
But yeah, like,
it's so funny.
But like,
best thing ever. Richardson had a lot of good sound bites.
I love my dad, but like he never saw combat or anything like that. Like, he never did anything like that. He was just on a ship.
My bad.
No, you're good. He was just on a ship. He didn't. He didn't fight or nothing, but he still doesn't like talking about it.
Yeah, no one does.
No,
that's a horrible time.
Do you guys? I don't know if you guys ever had Mr. Johnson in
I never had
middle school.
I never had him.
You did? Yeah. Did he ever tell you about like his brother? And I'm not sure what he had been in, or no, because he had toured. I think he served in like World War II or something like that. Because like he said he like went out and liberated
Johnson's brother.
Mr. Johnson, yeah, because he had liberated like Nazi camps or whatever and stuff, and he was telling us like one time
that was his brother.
Or well,
I think it was his uncle.
Something like that. Maybe it wasn't his.
I know
brother,
what you're talking about. Yeah,
yeah.
but
It was probably his uncle or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just like, yeah, you should come in and talk to the class, blah blah, whatever. And then like as soon as he said like, yeah, they might ask you about like what you saw and stuff like that, and he like kind of completely shut down, said no, I don't want to come in and talk. Then yeah, it's just you really see some like truly gruesome, horrible, unsettling, scarring things out there.
My grandpa actually, towards the later years of his life, I eventually got it out of him. And I'm not saying I was being pestering, but I kind of was being, the teenager that I was at the time, 17 years old, curious as fuck. I wanted to hear like a legitimate story because I had read things about World War II. I had heard things about World War II. But like I never heard anything about like the platoon or like even like the entire, military force that went up through Africa, like up through Egypt and like into Italy, right? And those people saw like Mussolini's corpse being desecrated by like the Italian people.
Because they hated him.
Oh yeah, Mussolini was fucked.
Wasn't he like strung up on like a phone wire or something?
Yeah, my grandpa actually told me a story. He saw it was either a little boy or a little girl stabbing Mussolini's corpse. Climbed up the lamppost where he was hanging and just like started stabbing him like in the arm, doing no damage to a corpse, but just having complete and utter rage at probably a 9-10 years old and just only knowing like the hatred for that person.
Yeah, sorry.
He was telling me I initially asked him, I was like, do you want to talk about this? And he's like, no, I don't talk about it, like I don't do that. And so, like, I pestered him later on in life, and shortly before he was going to pass away, and he kind of knew it. My grandma was already gone, and he could kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yep.
And he told me about it, and he told me when he was going up through the very southern part of Italy, they actually had encountered U.S. forces prior to that. So U.S. forces had gone in there and fought.
Yeah, that was when they tried to breach in through Rome, and they just got fucked.
Yeah. And he said that he was coming through the southern part of Italy, and they got to a part of Italy where it was like no longer inhabited by people. And when he looked north, I think he said he looked north, and it was probably about like 500 meters in front of him, like where they had to go. There was a wall. And when I say a wall, I mean a wall of dead bodies in front of him, literally encompassing his entire eyesight. When he approached them, he lost his sense of smell because of how putrid it was and how disgusting it was. He said there had to have been over like 5,000 dead people in that small area. Soldiers, Italian soldiers, American soldiers, all the above, everybody, Nazi soldiers. Like it was so disturbing and gruesome that when he was telling me about it at 90 something years old, well after it had happened, many years after. He had lived probably 3 lifetimes after, it had happened. He was still telling me it, and it was like as it had happened yesterday. And he was crying up, he was tearing up, and he was crying about like these people he never knew, but like just the entire, all he would talk about was the evil. And that was like the most like bone-chilling part about it, is he's like the evil for somebody to allow this to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Is this many bodies in one area.
Like my grandfather, he's not my actual grandfather, but I call him my grandfather, like, adoptive grandparent.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I do have to take a piss. Tell the story.
I also have to interrupt real quick. Bryce's camera's frozen.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Well, I'm just gonna leave it here, or
That's
should I just? This is gonna be you talk. Every time you talk, this is what people are gonna see.
I mean, I could just move to Trenton's spot while he goes take a piss.
That works. And then, no, whatever. I don't care. Whatever.
All right, Trenton, get up.
What? You're gonna move to just talking to your fucking mic?
All right, fine.
Whatever.
All right, so
everybody stay.
Maybe we can.
Please don't mess up the other camera.
But yeah, my
It won't mess up the other cameras, but it might restart this one.
No, it's still frozen.
Nope. All right,
that's fine.
Gotta love it.
We'll leave it frozen.
Yeah, so...
Sorry, people watching. You no longer get to see Bryce talk.
It's just Bryce.
How unfortunate.
How unfortunate. All right, yeah, you go. You talk to Gabe. I gotta take a whiz.
All right, so my my grandfather, he wasn't my actual grandparent, but like adopted us as we were young kids. He was in the army in World War II. He was in the Pacific, and he only told me 2 stories. One of when he was in and when he got out. So he was a scout in the infantry, and the Japanese would have, booby traps. They'd have, punji pits and, all these little tricks and stuff to hide, and they had tunnels. And he was scouting forward and kind of just saw, and I mean, he'd gone over, I guess, the trap door, and a Japanese guy came up through the trap door and tried to shoot him in the back. But his gun jammed. And, my grandpa took him prisoner, and, all his buddies came up and were like, let's kill this guy. Let's kill this Japanese guy.
Oh, damn.
He tried to kill you. And he was like, no, he's my prisoner. He's not going to, you're not going to kill him. No, let's kill him. Let's kill this guy. No, we're not going to kill him. So he personally walked him back to base, or wherever they were, and turned him in as a prisoner of war. He wouldn't tell me any other stories about the war. I have no doubt that he killed people. He was wounded himself. He has a Purple Heart. And then when he got back, he was, he was at a barn dance or a barn party or whatever, and he sees his girl, and, wants to go dance with her, and he tells all of his buddies, like, hey, you guys, you stay away from her. She's mine. All of you guys stay away.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, that ended up being his wife, and they stayed married until his death.
Wow.
And I had promised him
That's
that
beautiful.
I would play taps at his funeral, before he had passed. And then when the time came, when he did pass away, I played at his funeral, and that's the only time I've ever messed up playing taps. I couldn't finish.
I don't blame you, man.
I mean,
that's hard.
that still hurts. Like, that hurts me to this day. It's like,
I imagine.
it's like I had promised him, that I would play for him, when he died, and I couldn't fucking do it. I tried and I messed up, and it hurts.
Well, that's like the thing with, you were talking about your grandfather, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of like the thing with me is like when my grandfather passed, and like when I first initially found out my grandfather had passed away, I was like, oh my God, like, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go see my family. I'm going to go be the strong one. I'm going to be the shoulder that everyone can lean on, right? Mm-hmm. And everyone can cry on. And like that was my idea. It was like, I'm going to go see my grandmother. I'm going to go see my aunts and uncles. I'm going to go see my cousins. I'm going to be there for everybody. I'm going to be the strong relative. And then after I found out how he passed, it just it took a whole 180. Because my grandpa shot himself.
Oh, God.
And it was so devastating. It was so devastating. I had this idea. I was like, I'm going to, be this amazing person that everyone can, come to and talk to about like all these issues. And then just like when I found that out, it just like took me over, and I couldn't even see my grandparents I couldn't see my grandmother until the funeral. I couldn't look her in the face. And then like when I saw her, I was like, all I could think was like, I want to say like, we can get through this. We can be strong together. That, this is just a hiccup. He still loves us. And all I could muster out when I first hugged her is like, I miss him. I miss him so much.
And sometimes it's the words that aren't said that mean the most.
It is. It really is. This took a very melancholy turn. But it got hot as fuck in here.
It did.
It's a little hot in here.
It gets warm as shit in here. It's not as bad as when Connor was here, because when Connor was here, we were like dripping in sweat.
God.
Like, it was
towards
hot.
the end, yeah, I got cooking. I'm surprised we're at like an hour 30, about to be an hour 40, and I'm surprised it's still as cool as it is in here. Like what this
it's
time
just
with
cooler
Connor.
outside.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God.
It was like 90 degrees when Connor was here.
It was hot in here.
With the whole topic of, military and, being how much, I respect the military, and I can see myself still frozen up there.
It's so great. I'm laughing about it.
But it's like being how, I have the respect of the have so much respect for the military,
mm-hmm.
and, how strongly I feel for it. I'm pretty torn about the upcoming election. Because it's like,
why's that?
Well, Trump says all this stuff about, getting pay for the military, and, he's given us pay raises.
Mm-hmm.
He's given us better pay. But at the same time, you got to look at his conduct with John McCain. It's like, I don't like people who are captured. I like winners. It's like, if you understand what he went through
Oh,
in
yeah.
the POW camp,
Oh,
he had
just
his
being tortured,
he had
yeah.
his fingernails torn out,
Yeah.
and to be like, just commit, just like say that America's wrong, say that, Vietnam is right, communism is right, give up on your fellow prisoners. No. The amount of shit he went through, the amount of, he was beat, he was tortured, he couldn't even raise his arms above his shoulders.
Yeah, he was that
poked
fucked
with
up.
sharp
Yeah.
sticks and
Yeah.
he got fucked up.
It's like, and you're saying that you don't like him because he's not a winner?
And there are like deeply drawn lines between like Republicans and Democrats, but everybody could agree on one thing, that like John McCain was like a war hero
Yeah.
and was like
Yeah, he
this
was.
kind of like bridge between like the two groups, just like sound, stable mind that like they could rely on. And I don't know, John McCain, his presidential run wasn't super great or memorable, but like as like a
would've made a
member
good
of like
president.
Senate or Congress, whatever he was in, like he was respected, well respected by his peers.
Oh,
And-
very much so.
He was.
yeah, and
yeah.
even Trump's conduct at his funeral was kind of just like shitty.
Yeah.
I don't.
He
care.
was. Trump
like,
wasn't
yeah.
invited to the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Trump wasn't invited to the funeral by
Didn't he come
McCain's
anyway?
daughter. McCain's daughter
I think
actually.
there was like the official service, like the one where he was laying in
Yeah.
state,
Yeah.
and then like
Yeah,
the
and
private
like,
one.
Okay, then maybe it was
private
the private one he
service
was
was-
acting shitty at or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
no,
but it
the
was-
private service was for like friends and family and like close relatives and like
Oh yeah. Okay.
and like higher officials that like John McCain respected. But even like his John McCain's daughter like brought it up. She's like, Trump, like, we do not respect you at all.
Mm-hmm.
My family does not respect you. We do not respect the things you say. We do not see you as our president, but we do not.
That's just about it.
That's just about it. We don't like you as a person.
And it's like when Trump was first started, when he first got elected, or when he was doing his election run, I was
Yeah.
like all in. I was like, fuck yes, let's go. Like even when he had just like started his candidacy, I remember like talking to my boss at Dairy Queen, and I was like, who would like make a good president? Trump. And he's like, fuck no, he's not gonna get and he won.
Yeah,
And it was like
he did
months
win.
later he won. And it was
Oh,
like, I
God.
was all hyped about it. I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. And then he starts saying all this shit about John McCain. And it's like, really, dude?
Yeah.
He gives like so many reasons, like pretty consistently, for people to not like him, but there's like a concerning amount of people that do support him, and I'm not
Oh,
sure
yeah.
support's gonna be the same as in the 2016 election. I think we've seen enough
No,
of like
definitely not.
how he's behaved and acted to like understand what we're actually dealing with this time. And with like a little shame, like I couldn't vote. I didn't vote in like the 2016 election because I was still 17 or whatever. But I think honestly, given like Hillary and Trump, if I didn't vote for Trump, I probably would have voted for the Libertarian guy.
I did.
Gary Johnson?
Gary
I voted
Johnson.
I voted
Yeah.
for Gary Johnson. No, I wrote in Zimney. I wrote in Ryan Zimney.
Good God.
Hyper.
Good God.
No, did I actually? Do you know who Andrew Schultz is?
No.
No.
I don't think
He's
so.
a comedian, and he kind of does like he doesn't do like video rants. Like he does stand up and shit like that. He's a really funny comedian, one of the funniest people like I've ever seen in my life. But he did a fucking just a rant about Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's.
I,
Yeah, Ghislaine
I wish you
Maxwell.
will, honestly.
Yeah. So
I wish you will.
And
so
that's like
Trump
that's
brought
like
that-
the most concerning thing to me too. Is that
Yeah,
you're just
he
like,
wished
oh,
her
God.
well.
Yeah,
Yep,
it's-
I wish her well.
and he and
I
Andrew
almost take
Schultz
that
was
as
like,
code for like I hope she doesn't get hung, but maybe he does actually because she could expose him.
No. That's what Andrew Schultz was saying. He's like, what happened to the fucking president that talks like a hungover third base coach?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't really know kind of about that because it's like,
Oh, dude, that rant is the funniest shit.
I mean,
It's
I'm
so
gonna
funny.
look it up like when I drive back home. But like as much as Epstein is like connected to like all these high people, the Clintons, Trump, all these like actors and celebrities and stuff, and then he was suicided.
Yeah, Epstein did not kill himself.
No, he did not. Epstein didn't kill himself. But yeah, like.
They can't. Your camera doesn't
Well,
work anymore.
I remember that.
We just
like-
got this great little snippet of you right here, frozen in time.
It's a beautiful view. Anyway, but like,
I wonder when that froze. We'll have to look back on the video and
Yeah,
see
see
when
how
that
far
froze.
back that
yeah,
froze.
but like Maxwell, she's like, I wish you well, honestly. Like, are you serious? Like this lady groomed like little girls for this fucking pervert and you wish her well?
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, that's fine. Do you guys ever watch like the Filthy Rich Jeffrey Epstein documentary? Yeah, like seeing like how many like fairly high profile like people
Visited
like that.
his island?
Yep, it's just like we're not really ready to fully admit or talk about the fact that Hollywood has a nasty like child sex ring. Like
It's awful.
it's bad.
It's
And,
not
like,
just Hollywood; it's political figures like
yeah, like big
Prince
people in
Andrew?
politics.
Prince
Didn't
Andrew.
He,
God.
didn't he like
Bill Clinton.
didn't he like kind of like take himself away from the line of secession?
Well, okay, no. Okay,
he
like,
didn't do that. What he did was he essentially like separated himself from like Epstein and all those people, and then took himself out of the limelight long enough for people to forget. That's
Okay.
essentially what he did.
well,
like-
kind of like.
Well,
As
he
soon as,
said
like,
he said he
Epstein
had
got
no
a-
recollection of it though.
Yeah, he's just like, and like this woman, and that's part of like the Filthy Rich documentary too. He's just like claiming to have no relationship or connection ever had met this woman. Well, there's pictures of them
There's
together.
pictures,
Yep.
yeah.
And then like and it's not like this thing like they just kind of like everybody kind of forgot it, but he didn't.
Prince Andrew was on
Prince
that
Andrew
island
didn't
boogie
step-
boarding a third grader.
Good God, that's bad. But like, he didn't really step out of power until like
No, he
all this
never did.
Epstein stuff like blew up,
Yeah.
and then like they did that interview with him, like you were friends, like all this stuff, and like it just tore him. Like he shouldn't have done. Like if
No,
he
he should not have
No,
done
he
that.
no,
should not have.
that
No.
interview is the reason why. Like they said, you have to step down. You have to get out of here. We can't associate. They're obviously going to support him, give him money, whatever. It's family, but like publicly, we can't let. They denounced him pretty much. It's just like that interview. If like anyone didn't think he was guilty after that interview, they really thought he was guilty.
Yeah, like the thing with like, God, what was it? This might be kind of a hard stance, but I think pedophiles deserve the like pedophiles and sexual predators and stuff. I think they deserve to die.
Oh yeah, so did Trump.
Dead pedophiles don't.
Trump was
reoffend.
Trump was pushing for that in 2016. He actually tried to pass a bill in 2016, shortly after he was elected, that literally gave pedophiles the death penalty in every state. It was a federal offense. It was literally like a federal recognized death penalty. It was like the first one of its kind. Yeah, he was pushing for that, and now he wishes Ghislaine well. Like, and the same thing about Prince Andrew too. They asked in the interview, they're like, "What about Prince Andrew? Like, what's your take on that?" And he's like, "I just don't know the situation. I just don't know." And even Andrew Schultz was like, "Either you got a fucking case of Biden brain, or you're just fucking lying, because clearly 5 years ago you knew what was going on." And there's literally a video of Trump at Good Morning America talking about that island being a cesspool, like the little St. James Island,
Yep.
being a cesspool.
Virgin Islands.
Being a cesspool, and then he says, "Ask Prince Andrew. He would know. He'll tell you."
It's so
boy.
disgusting, and oh god, it's so ironically that his island is the Virgin Islands. It's just, oh, God.
Dead child molesters don't offend. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah,
no,
like, they
fuck
definitely
child.
don't.
I think child molesters should be shot on site.
There was-
oh god,
so-
Trump's so fucking
Well,
bad,
with
though.
due
Yeah.
process, obviously.
There's so much fucking things Trump has said that's just like, oh, you look at it now, it's like that's not.
But
good.
you-
Before I was working at the casino, I was working at a grocery store as security, loss
Yeah.
prevention, and there was some dude who had stolen something or whatever, and I caught him, arrested him, police came, gave him a ticket, let him go.
Mhm.
But it's like I remembered his name, and then once I started working for the casino, I look his name up, because the amount of names that are common between that grocery store that I worked at and the casino, the people who are banned, they're really fucking common. It's like
I
criminals
imagine.
criminals do crime everywhere.
Yeah.
But it was like I looked his name up, and then you can look at his criminal history too. It was like sexual assault, penetration of a minor, 13 years old or younger, and I'm like,
oh
it
god.
was like if I had fucking known that earlier, I would have slammed his face into the goddamn granite countertop.
Oh,
It's like
multiple times.
there is nothing that gives me more rage than just like a fucking child molester just fucking walking around,
Yeah,
just like free.
that's disgusting.
Because what you've
Absolutely
done is
disgusting.
you've ruined kids' lives. You've scarred them for life.
Yeah, they're never going to be the same
No,
ever.
they deserve to die.
But one of the biggest things that Andrew Schultz pointed out and he's like, so he had a video that he posted on Instagram about Ghislaine Maxwell, and the video got deleted from Facebook and Instagram. It just vanished off Instagram. Like, they didn't tell him that it was deleted or anything like that after it had 1.5 million views. So, like, this is a pretty big video, and it just popped out of nowhere, like, disappeared. And he's like, the thing about that video is that, like, we speculated on nothing. Nothing was speculated on. Everything was factual. Everything we said was entirely factual. He's like, so fuck it. I'm going to speculate. He's like, the Democrats are being completely silent about Ghislaine Maxwell because they want her to know that they're in her corner, right? And Trump wishes her well because he's trying to send her a message. The thing is whoever wins this upcoming election has the ability to pardon Ghislaine. Right?
But in that case, would you do it? Because that's such a...
Hold on. Let me hear me out.
Okay.
So if Trump wins, he has the ability to pardon Ghislaine, in which case she's not going to out him and his cronies, right? But if, the people animating Biden's corpse, if they win... if they
Uncle
win...
Joe. God damn.
If they win, they have their ability to protect themselves and their cronies, right? The Clintons and all that shit. And they're going to out the Republicans, and the Republicans are going to out the Democrats. That's just how it's going to go. It's going to go one or the other way. And that's like what he speculated on. He's like, this has the highest stakes of any political election because whoever wins gets to stay in the dark, which whoever loses gets to come out into this limelight. And Ghislaine Maxwell has reported herself of having videos of every single person that had ever done anything with a minor in her, under her discretion, right? Whether it was someone that she groomed or if she brought someone to her building or if it was the island or whatever, she has each and every single one of those people filmed.
But would you necessarily pardon someone like that?
To save your own fucking skin?
If you're in that position of power, if you're trying to do it to save your own skin, doesn't it also put a target on your back? Because, imagine it's like, hey, this person is 100% guilty.
Yeah.
Is 100% like in the business of child molestation.
But if she outs everybody else on the other side of the line, that's not you and your 3 buddies.
But then I'm gonna pardon her. It's like, oh, well, now fingers are being pointed at you. It's like, why'd you pardon her?
But they're not gonna pardon her until she outs a lot of people, right? She's gonna have to work for that pardon.
Oh,
the prison sentence could be vastly reduced, but she's still gonna go to prison.
It could have, it could be.
And
San Diego State.
I don't think like a full president, like
penitentiary.
exactly, like you said, anybody that's like, whoever the next president is, if they like give her a complete like full pardon, full free pass, then yes, they're gonna have like a target on their back, like what is being covered up. But like you said, I think like literally one side is about to be protected for the most part, because if you give up enough information, like blow up an entire. I don't know. There's a lot of crazy things.
Have you heard about the child, the Wayfair?
Yeah,
I've heard child cabinet theory.
I've heard a little bit about that.
That's kind of like a nasty thing.
Oh my god, I watched a video on it. And there's literally just like stock images of cabinets on Wayfair on the website where you can like buy cabinets and
dirty,
shit.
Fucking stupid.
And they're
cabinets for going for so much crazy money, and like
they're
all
14.
given names. They're all given names.
Yeah.
And like if you look across the database of missing children, it's just like some of those names happen to be the same names as like
what the
fuck? No.
Yeah.
It's like 20 missing people, like kids, like 20 missing kids,
fuck?
And they're all female. Every single one of them.
And it's male, but
and it's like
predominantly
these metal cabinets, right? Just these shitty metal cabinets, and they have like different names to them. Each one's like $14,000 roughly.
The fuck?
Even more than that. Like it's a crazy amount of money.
It's not like I watched
on that like filing cabinet. Yeah.
No, I watched the video, and like each one's like hovers around like 14 to 15,000. Like none of them go over 20.
What the fuck?
But yeah, still that's like a crazy amount of money. And,
like, but like what it is like the name of them like in the actual description of what, or not in their description, but in their title would be like. For example, I don't remember her name, but it was like the last name of a missing girl. And it was like Ivanka or something like that. That's just like, and that's what her last name was. Or like Ulrich or whatever, like it was like Ulrich cabinet, like 5x5 this. And then it was like Brianna Ulrich is missing.
That is messed up.
Super fucked up.
See, now who's gonna investigate that? Like, who's gonna buy one of those cabinets and be like, all right, what's the deal behind this? Is this just someone like trying to make money off of some crazy idea by selling cabinets, or is this like legit?
No, you can't anymore. Because like the craziest thing, like the most suspicious thing about like this whole Wayfair scandal is like once this broke the surface, it's just like immediately they took all of them off.
Like it's gone.
You can't buy them anymore. You can't find them. You can't look for them. Like they're not there anymore. They took them all down, every single thing. Jesus. And they tried to say like, oh, we just like name our cabinets like randomly, and it's just but they didn't. They didn't give any explanation for why they decided to completely delete their inventory and then like put up normal things with normal
and why
prices.
It costs so much.
Yeah, like there's no questions answered, and it's more suspicious that you went to extra lengths to get rid of this that's already happening.
I guarantee what happened is they just literally took everything that they had and just moved it somewhere else. Literally named it something else, whether it was like a cabinet or a car
is this
or whatever.
Like Wayfair itself is the business selling this, or is this like some like third party? Like
this
eBay
is so Wayfair is kind of like an Amazon website, Amazon / like eBay thing where you can like sell your own things through it's like a third party selling option where people meet up and they buy from that website.
Okay.
And you give like you're selling on the website and you give a certain percentage to Wayfair.
So now are these? I don't know if people like did enough research into this. Are these like missing names? Are they from like the same area? For example, like Uptown New York or
No.
Okay,
they're
so these
all
like
over.
from all over. Okay,
Nationwide.
Yeah, it is. But
I'd
like
say
the scariest part about it was like those names, whether they were last or first, they definitely were able to go in and like,
they matched up with cabinets.
they found like missing kids with the same names, multiple, and it just like it was too much to be a coincidence.
Same spelling too.
Yeah, it's just like sure you can like say you and your factory workers want to be like fucking goofy or different.
Just get it off Frozen Bryce.
Get it off Frozen Bryce. Yeah, you can say whatever. Yeah, they're just like have to stare Frozen Bryce.
Well, I mean, nobody really watches these anyway.
I'd say it's a good like probably a third.
Well, they listen. What they do is they like throw it on YouTube because they don't have Spotify or iTunes, and they just listen.
Like that.
That's really it. But
fucking Wayfair.
Yeah, we got on a wicked topic there pretty late.
That's just fucking crazy, dude.
That was a good one.
Oh
yeah,
God, it's the grossest
insane.
thing.
It's insane.
It's so disgusting. The
There's
River
so much,
actually showed
so
me
much
about that.
surrounding. Yeah, it's just like it's so up in the air. It looks so suspicious.
I like how
it's like
in this year 2020, that's just like kind of blown off as normal.
What do you mean normal?
Well, as much as the shit
that's pretty fucked up.
Well, I know it's pretty fucked up, but like the amount of shit that's been going on in this year,
and like the fact that it takes like this long for this to get to the surface of things, like to be brought to attention, I could agree with you there.
Yeah, I was like,
it's not brushed off as normal. There's definitely a lot of conspiracy theorists out there now with like Dorito chips, like crumbs all over their fucking chest, and they're sitting there with their carpal tunnel and their right middle finger because they keep clicking, they keep right clicking all day long trying to get to like the source code of websites and shit.
No, it's not necessarily considered normal to an extent, but like in the broad spectrum of how shocking and crazy things have been, I'm not surprised this is kind of like taking a back burner to where we currently are.
Oh yeah. And how like the CIA or NSA like admitted to UFOs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, NASA? They're just like,
by the
okay,
way,
you guys are ready for this. Here you go. Here's some videos of flying objects. We have no idea what they are.
UFOs
Might be
don't
UFOs.
necessarily mean like alien spaceships. UFO is just like unidentified flying objects, so it could be just
Hold on. You want to hear something crazy?
Sure.
The CIA completely admitted, like, in from the New York Times, was it New York Times or was it Washington Post? I can't remember. It was one of the two. It was either like New York
Probably
Times.
the Times. The Times
I think
real
it was,
damn good at journalism.
I think it was
Shout
the
out to
Times.
New York Times.
And they went through the CIA, and the CIA admitted that in the 60s, a physical flying object, crashed on Earth that was not made here.
Yeah, Roswell, New Mexico. Yes.
An unidentified object crashed on Earth, and we took it and hid it from the fucking population and kept it. And it was not made here on Earth. So where the fuck was it made, Bryce?
No, like that's a crazy boom. I've seen like video or like TV series like about talking about like that. It's just like our technological boom didn't necessarily like kick off until like that UFO sighting at Roswell, when maybe we had like
when we discovered radio waves and shit.
And like when this crashed object came in, we reverse engineered it, and like people speculate that that's where the development of like microchips came from, is that we reverse engineered enough of this alien technology to be able to like implement this. I think tiny bit of a stretch, but like you look at the technological jump between like the 60s, 70s, that kind of time period, all this like crazy, and like and that's why that's why I'm saying it's like conspiracy theories. Yeah. This isn't necessarily something I like believe in heart to heart, but like what I'm saying is like what I heard is that like they're trying to say like they reverse engineered spaceships to give us that kind of like jump into the next sort of wave. Well, and then not necessarily something I believe.
But like even in World War II though, there was like more technological advancements.
Oh yeah, like radar was made.
Radar in World War II, like
shout out radar,
atomic bomb. More technological advancements were made during a wartime than had happened after Roswell. Right?
War is the greatest. War is the greatest thing for an economy.
It is pretty great.
It's the greatest thing for
unless you
I think it's the greatest thing for innovation, but
yeah, technology,
maybe
innovation,
not the economy, but the innovation.
If you lose, you're fucked.
Oh
but,
yeah, just get raped. Like Germany was a shit show for like fucking 5 years.
Well, yeah.
But what I was gonna say is like it's not the fact, like the way I look at it, it's not the fact that like we reverse engineered like the spaceship that came down and like we had this just giant technological boom after that. It was the fact that like when we reverse engineered this spaceship, because it's basically like almost proven at this point. When we did, we found things that like opened our eyes, right? Because like we weren't looking necessarily in the right places. That's like where the initial hard drive came out of, was like Arizona in the 60s, like where Roswell fucking happened.
Does anybody remember like the Battle of Los Angeles in World War II? Or was it Los Angeles? I think it was Los Angeles. Where it was like there was this unidentified flying object just flying through the air in Los Angeles. And there were searchlights, and people were air bases were shooting at it with flak, and just nothing. No wreckage, no downed planes, no enemy confirmations of attack. I think it's the Battle of Los Angeles. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Look that shit up, Gabe.
I think you might be right, and I needed.
But I know there's a shitty movie called Battle Los Angeles, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like actually like the Battle of Los Angeles, like World War II.
Huh.
Yeah, not the shitty movie.
Yeah, I know.
Gettysburg. No, I'm just kidding.
History. We're not looking for movies.
You should have just put World War II.
Yeah, Battle of Los Angeles.
You dick. I'm Jamieing the shit out of this.
Oh yeah, the beam of. Oh, I've seen that before. February 25th, 1942.
Yeah, they were all like. Oh yeah, 3 people died in car accidents and 2 people just had a fucking heart attack.
What?
Yeah, but it's like they were shooting at this like thing in the sky.
Shout out history.com.
Aliens.
World War II's bizarre battle of Los Angeles. Huh. Have you seen the video? Oh God, who's the former Navy SEAL pilot? Or not Navy SEAL pilot, but Air Force pilot.
Which one?
The one that came out about UFOs.
I don't remember.
He worked at Area 50. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. He was like a very well-renowned like person, but he was very big into UFOs, and he was like the first person to leak that video of that like grain of rice you can see like on the like the fighter jet, like fucking camera or whatever, like the front camera or helmet cam or whatever it is. You can see it, and you can see like in the video he's trying to lock on to like the unidentified, the UFO that he can see on camera. He's trying to lock onto it, and he can't. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, I can't lock on. I can't track this thing. And then you see it, and it's about like 30 clicks out. Like, it's pretty far away.
Yeah.
And you see it just go from like he's pointing at it, he's facing it, and you see it just like fly across the screen. You just see it like go from not moving at all to just away. And like he said, to go from like 0 to that fast, physically impossible with any sort of mechanism that we have like on Earth today.
What was that? I think it was an Australian pilot. I could be wrong, but it was like a Bush pilot. Of just like he called into a radio tower. He's like whatever tower. There's an object here, and it's just hovering. There's a plane just hovering in the air. And then as he got closer, like 2 minutes later, that's not a plane and it's not hovering. And then just like silence, and they can't find. And he went missing.
Mm-hmm. I heard about that. Yeah, that was fucking crazy.
Oh, that's a UFI.
UFI.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it is Australia, but it was something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's like a ton of like declassified like old videos from like the 60s, 70s, whatever, about just like crazy objects like coming in and out of focus. I remember one thing, they were trying to like test launch like rockets or whatever, and all of a sudden this like object like comes into frame, and then suddenly like the rocket or whatever like malfunctions or like blows up or whatever, and then this thing just like shoots off, like you said, like it's hovering for a sec and then just fucking zips.
The craziest part about is like how far it is away, right? Because if you look up and you see a plane flying in the sky, that plane's going like 300 to 600 to like 1,000 miles an hour plus, depending on like
Depends on the plane,
depending on the plane. But like, let's say you see like not like a fighter jet, but you just see like a passenger plane, like a 747 or something like that. That shit is in like your line of sight, and if you didn't move your head at all, that shit is in your line of sight for quite a few minutes. Being 30,000 feet in the air and being as big as it is, and you can still see it. But like something that's 30 clicks away has no business going from like right in front of your face to like off screen within seconds. That is physically impossible with like the type of engines we have today.
Oh yeah,
especially flying craft, to go from stationary to fucking.
Because like it's not just like, does the engine have enough speed? It's also like the
G-force.
the effects. Yeah, the G-forces on the pilot themselves. Like you can just fucking die.
Yeah. Oh god.
And like,
yeah.
And the amount of force it has on the plane or whatever object that's flying, it would just fucking tear apart.
Yeah.
Like there's pilots who like they attempt to do a nosedive and then just like pull up.
Yeah.
They just fucking die.
Yeah, because like that force of you going down. There's actually there's a simulation I watched at NDSU that we have a simulator, and I was like, what happens like if you were to drop a plane straight down, and then like the last second once it reached terminal velocity, and you flattened it out like without rounding it into like a ramp. If you just flatten it out, the wings, everything would rip right off that fucking plane. The wings would rip right off that plane.
Yep.
And those wings are rated like 27 times the safety factor to like hold the plane. That's how much force. That's how much like force would happen from like the wind and everything at like atmospheric pressure. Completely rip those fucking wings off.
Yeah, that would like what was it?
Holy
like
shit! Pushing almost 4, or it's past 4.
In World War II, like the Allied planes,
Yeah.
like they were just basically like fucking tinfoil and
wood.
And,
duct tape.
Yeah, tinfoil, wood, and just like steel beams.
Yep.
And it's like if they like deviated their shit, like their wings would just like snap off.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Like I think it was like 56 or it was like in the high 50s or low 60s percentage of airborne casualties weren't in combat in World War II. Like a vast majority of them.
That's too many.
Were in like.
It's way too many to be up in the air already.
Were in training accidents, or Richard Bong, like the World War II fighter ace. From Superior.
Yeah.
Oh, he died the day that they had dropped a bomb on Hiroshima, in a training accident. He was testing out a new fighter pilot.
That.
It didn't take off, and it just fucking crashed into the.
Come off.
I can't remember if it crashed like off the aircraft carrier, or he just like spun out on the aircraft carrier and died. But yeah, he just fucking died the same day the bomb dropped on Hiroshima.
Fucking bridge named after him.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
He was the
Shout
ace.
out Richard Bond.
Yeah, he was the World War II fighter ace from Superior.
That is, that's crazy. That is unbelievable. The fact that, like, could you imagine if we were driving, like, cars were just invented, and they're like, yeah, like, there's a 65% chance you'll die. Like, going down the road. Mm-hmm. But it's all right. Just keep going.
Just keep going, yeah.
No, I'm going to fucking stop and pick a new job. Like, that's so messed up.
Yeah, like, that's why every plane in World War II, or the bombers at least, from the book Unbroken, which is my favorite book of all time, it's like the bomber that crashed when he survived on the raft and being a POW, wasn't even in combat. They were just out searching for a plane that went down. The engine just died.
Fuck.
Plane crashed, only 2 people survived, and they spent, I think, 43 days in an inflatable raft on the Pacific Ocean.
Holy shit.
43 or 34. I can't remember, but it's still like the record of like survival on an inflatable raft.
Yeah, I would hope
there's-
so.
There's like,
I would really hope so.
I mean, some people might have survived longer, but they died before they could.
Get rescued.
Yeah.
Holy
But like,
shit.
there was one guy who survived on like a wooden raft for like 111 days, but he had drinking water already and he had food, so that doesn't count. This is like on an inflatable raft in the middle of the fucking ocean with fucking nothing. Hey.
You know that's recording you doing that, right?
I do. That's what I'm doing.
That's funny as fuck. All right, well, honestly, I got to get to the gym and I got stuff to do today, so I think we should wrap this up.
And I gotta get home to change for work.
You do have to work?
Yep.
I thought you had to work at 4. That's why I was like, we're cramming this motherfucker.
I gotta work at 6.
Shut out. Well,
just-
yeah, that's pretty good, solid time for this cast.
Oh, yeah, sure.
just,
What, 2 hours we're pushing?
Just a bit of a
roughly.
footnote. All of the opinions stated by me are mine and mine alone. They do not reflect upon the United States Marine Corps or the Fond du Lac Band of Ojibwe or the Fond du Lac Casino.
That was pretty quick.
I
Good
just had to say
disclaimer,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
That was a great
just
disclaimer.
a disclaimer. No,
Maybe we should put up like a South Park disclaimer, like right at the beginning, where it says like, "No
Yeah,
one in
like-
this show actually exists." Like none of the things said here are actually real.
We're just online personas.
We're just online personas with faces.
That's all
it.
computer animation.
That's entirely computer animated.
Yeah,
I wish I was that sexy in real life.
Yeah, the reason my face froze is because the animator just fucking fell asleep halfway through the job. So
For sure.
Straight up left, yeah.
Yeah, straight up lie. He had to take a leak and then
Reminds
never
me of
came
me
back.
in high school didn't do any work.
Well, hey Bryce, it was great having you on, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be gone for about 8 months.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Gone for about 8 months. Hopefully you get to listen to this, and hopefully,
Oh, no, I'll still be tuning in.
hopefully I did. Hopefully
That
I
was
did
good.
too.
That was a good time though. All right,
Solid time.
We'll see you guys later.
See ya.
See ya.
Thanks for coming in.